Welcome to the Pride of Detroit PODcast, prideofdetroit.com, Pride of Detroit on Twitter, Pride of Detroit on Facebook, now live as we speak on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, and live up on youtube.com/at Pride of Detroit. That's where you can find us. We do this live. This isn't just a podcast, even though it's called the PODcast. It is also our live radio show. You can join us live every week as we do this. We are coming to you on Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everyone out there, committed as you are, the hard workers that you are, always in the struggle to make sure that your work is validated and seen and rewarded with adequate pay, which is the basis of a good working society. Get the value of your work. Let not them skim the value of what you do. There. That's
Are
all.
are you making a case for the quarterback rookie contract, Chris?
I'm making a case for you know what? Let's just move on. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Look, even saying like hey, Labor Day should be about the workers is like a radical statement in the United States. So but it is about you. It is about you, the worker, and you are here hard at work, and we are hard at work to bring you the best damn Lion coverage around. And guess what? Today, preview, season preview, talking about everything we want to talk about. We've danced around for this team for a long time. We've talked about the roster. We've talked about the practice squad roster. We've talked about everything. But it's time now for the hot takes, for the opinions, the analysis, and getting ready as the Lions prepare to host the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. Ryan, can I get it? Can I get it from you?
No, you're gonna have to wait
Okay.
for that.
All right, fine. We'll wait for that. We'll wait for that. I think usually I start each season with a bit of a rant. I don't really have one this year.
I think you already did
I think you already did it. Yeah.
I know, but I mean, like usually I'm like casting down the Chicago Bears or something. But either way, we're going to get to a lot of reasons as to why we're maybe concerned for the Detroit Lions and why this is absolutely the year. Because there's a lot going on, and I'm going to save the rest of what I have to say for when we get to my points. But let's introduce everyone, because I'm Chris Perfett, the adequate host at Chris Perfett on Twitter, and I've been talking for way too long. So let's get you over to Jeremy Reisman, the fearless leader at Detroit Online. Jeremy, the calendar changed to September. How are we feeling?
It's amazing, man. I feel great. It's officially week one. We're, as you mentioned, we're recording this on Monday night, and that officially turns the calendar over into week one. So by all accounts, it's game week. We've waited a very, very, very long time. Actually, you know what? A shorter than usual time to get Lions football back in our lives. But I think the anticipation for the season is higher than any in recent memory for a lot of Lions fans. Probably the most anticipation ever. And so I'm ready to get this thing going, man.
I am too. I am too. I feel exhausted just getting up to this point and just knowing that I'm about to get a shot in the arm for more football. Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD. Ryan, you have a message to the people out there from a old friend of ours, from the old BK69 friend.
Yeah, he's a lot like Santa Claus, except he just like gets into your house however he can. Gets his claws into you, and speaking of claws, he's a lot like Santa Claus and drops off little, prop futures that you can, just throw $5 down on, because unlike the people in our comment section at POD who say things like, man, this is super irresponsible that you're giving out bets like this, about the same odds as like buying a $10 scratch off ticket. So if you think that's irresponsible to put, a little bit of coin down on Jared Goff being the MVP, that's a problem between you and God.
So for those our audio only listeners, it has up there from Bovada King 69, Jared Goff MVP plus 2,000. Sincerely, BK69. You are not the first person I've heard this from. That is, even from a neutral party, they do say that, like, look, if the Lion, their rationale is like, this is from Martin Weiss, another gambling friend of mine, says, look, if the Lions win the division, they're on a season where the Packers and the Bears are hyped, that probably means they're doing it off of the arm of Jared Goff. And if Jared Goff's leading them to another division title over this and double-digit wins, then there's probably a good reason to believe that he could be in the MVP running.
How far have we come since 2021?
I know. It is insane to even think about. Jeremy looks kind of pained there.
I'm just ready to go, man.
I
While
know.
you dilly-dally with bets, I just want the football to happen.
Ugh. Football, football. We already had college football. Now we get to start talking about the NFL. So we've got reasons for concern, reasons why this could be the year, predictions to talk about. We're going 3 segments on this. Big, strong podcast to start the year. Unfortunately, we will start with reasons for concern because listen, Detroit Lions are in a position they have never been in before. They are defending NFC North champions. They are NFC finalists. They're not going to raise a banner for that, unlike the Colts. But they have great expectations placed upon them. Every one of our friends we can find out there has the Detroit Lions as one of the few teams in the tier 1 of NFL teams. The cream of the crop risen to the top. I did a radio show yesterday where everyone was doing season previews, and 4 out of 5 people, excuse me, of that crew, of that radio crew, all had the Lions playing in the Super Bowl. Expectations are sky high, through the roof. It is insane. So here we are. Let's throw a little bit of cold water on it before we start mainlining Lions straight to the arteries, though. Reasons for concern. So, Jeremy, with all of this concern, I think Lions fans, the natural habit is to be like, something's going to go wrong.
Right.
It's always hard. It doesn't matter that we're in the new age of Lions. That fear is just deep down in all of us. It is conditioned. So I think we start with fear.
Yeah. But I'm going to be very clear. My reasons are going to try to be as analytical as possible. It's not going to be like, well, the Lions have never won back-to-back division titles. Oh, they've never won back-to-back 10-win seasons. All of that may be true, but I think we can all agree that last year proved this team is not the team of the past. We don't need to, hang our concerns, our anxieties on these skeletons of old. We don't need to hang out in the Heidi closet because things suddenly have gotten real. They've been real for a year and a half now, and this team has been fine. So, my first reason concern, and we're each going to give 2 each, and then don't worry, we'll build everyone back up in the second segment.
Oh, yeah.
The defensive back chemistry. I think I've mentioned this a couple times on whatever podcast offerings we have, but to me, it's just the fact that, yes, the defensive backfield is way improved. There's a bunch of new names. You look at Kindle Vildor, who started the final game for the Lions in the NFC Championship. He is now cornerback 6 on the roster. Pretty good sign that the talent level is higher, but just because the talent level is higher doesn't mean that they're going to be out there playing like a cohesive unit right away. And obviously every team is going to go through some bumps and bruises early in the season, right? It's a new lineup for everybody, but there's just so much change in the Lions secondary. Basically, your only starters that are returning that are expected to be starters right now are Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch is not playing the position he played last year, presumably. So there's a lot of change, and combine that with the fact that a lot of these guys were injured for most of preseason and training camp. Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold. I could probably go on. All those guys missed significant time in training camp, and so this first month of the season, I think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises. And unfortunately for the Lions, they're also playing some important NFC teams during that stretch. If they lose to the Rams, that could be a big tiebreaker come seeding, because I presume the Lions are going to win that division. Maybe the Rams do too. The Bucs are a team that very much could win their division. So I just think early on, that's something that could cause this team to not look as impressive out of the gate. And with there being kind of an important set of games at the top of the schedule, who knows what that could do for the rest of the season.
I think to your point too, those first 4 games, it feels like a fourth of the schedule that you circle and say the Lions should be 3-1 at the end of this, right? Like, realistically speaking, Rams are a tough game. Bucks, yeah, maybe, but you also get them at home.
Yep.
Arizona Cardinals. I don't think they're going to be a very good football team. And then the Seahawks,
Those
right?
pesky Seahawks.
The biggest boogeyman that could, come to Ford Field. You feel like the Lions should be 3-1 at the end of those 4 games if they have, you know, NFC title aspirations, if they have NFC North, aspirations. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point that in those first 4 games, it's the defensive backs group that they're going to have to find a way to gel and gel early because you have some potent passing attacks. Week 1 against the Rams is like, my God, right?
Yep.
The Seahawks. If you want to talk about defensive backs group, even the Cardinals, right? They have Murray and they have Marvin Harris. They have talent. They have Dortch. They have a lot of guys that are really interesting. And if Arizona's going to win football games, it's going to be with their passing attack. So they'll get tested early and often.
Yeah, and I think just, again, losing Emmanuel Mosley already is it's tough. It's tough because you wanted to see what could be there, and I think I'm curious about the depth at that as well, and I'm curious what happens if the Lions do have to start poking into the depth of their DBs as well. Ryan, where are you here?
Yeah, I think my first point kind of dovetails into yours a little bit as well, but I'm going to do my best Brad Holmes impression and work in a baseball analogy into football. And it's the third time through the order for Ben Johnson. This is year number 3 for Ben Johnson. The whole baseball analogy of you get the starting pitcher, their stats certainly decline once they're going through the order for the third time because those guys have seen that pitcher's stuff a couple of times now already. And then, it's a precipitous fall for a lot of those statistics, even your really great pitchers, even your really great offensive coordinators. So my thing is with the Lions, it's always going to be the offense. It's always going to be their strong suit when it comes to this iteration of this football team. We have plenty of encouraging things to talk about in the defense. I think we're kind of saving that for the second segment. But even with the concerns about the defensive backs groups, you look at the offense, and that's going to be the driving force of how this team is successful week to week. Consistently, I think you can count on this offense to be dynamic, being able to run the football, being able to throw the football, doing both those things at a high level. If Ben Johnson can't continue, and we don't really have any evidence that shows, oh, hey, the league has figured out Ben Johnson, right? Because that was our big concern from 2022 to 2023, right? Was like, okay, yeah, now there's tape out on it. Let's see it happen again. And it did. And it happened. And the Lions were successful on offense again. Now it's like, okay, I really want to put that to the test. Like, there's a lot of film out there for Ben Johnson. How are the Lions able to adapt and survive and continue to be not just good on offense, but great on offense?
Innovate, innovate, innovate. It's the hardest thing to do. Someone eventually is trying to catch up with you.
Yeah.
And I think there's questions, particularly in the personnel, losing Josh Reynolds, and we'll get into him next. I'm sure later on in the podcast too, but getting Jamison Williams in here and making sure that your running backs are deep and healthy and everything else. Like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. And I think one of the most common phrases among NFL coaches is if you're standing still, you're behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to constantly evolve. You have to constantly improve. And I'm not that concerned about it because I think Ben Johnson is the guy for that job, the guy that can constantly evolve, the guy that can use new weapons that he has at his disposal to do so. I'm not worried about it, but I get like the urgency there to make sure that you don't let the offense sink at all, because you're right. That is how this team will win a Super Bowl. Is their offense needs to be elite, their defense needs to be good.
Yeah. And the one other thing I think that underscores all of it, though, is Jared Goff. And it's not a knock on him or his inability to do things, but it's his rather lack of ability to extend plays and to do things out of structure. So, like, you're always expecting the offense to be, boom, they're on timing, they're on rhythm, they're on everything all the time. And to have that all mixed together with Ben Johnson leading the way, it's just one of my causes for concern.
Mine is, I know Jeremy was like, oh, we're not going to do hot takes. I'll do some hot takes. Sure, why not? For the first time ever, the Lions are the hunted and not the hunter on this. And that does mean something. There was something to that. I always like to play this game going on other people's message boards after the Lions win, finding the fans who are like, what the hell happened? We lost to the Detroit Lions. And that was still true. for part of last year, and it did start to change. And it has kind of changed now that everyone's getting a full load of a lot of hype for the Lions in this offseason. And I don't know if, and that's not just fans, that's also just everyone in the NFL knows what the Detroit Lions did last year. And it means that when they come play, they're going to become playing at the top of their game, giving you everything on it. And I can I can think of no better example of that than the start of the schedule, where it's right out of the gate, 2 grudge matches from the playoffs to start. And it's I can't, and I don't want to take too much away from one of Ryan's other points, but like, it's your divisional opponents who know you won the division last year. It's every other team out there. You're playing the Cowboys. You're playing everyone else who knows exactly what the Lions did last year. And if you think they're going to just, if there's going that's going to rain on someone psychologically on the other teams, and it's going to make them practice harder and bring their A game and just bring you the hardest game you can imagine. And the Lions have to be ready for that. This is not a position the Lions, I think, have ever been in the modern era. Like, they are the hunted, not the hunter at this point. And I mean, you can still be the hunter and go out there and win games, but at the same time, I'm just saying, you're going to see some toughness from other teams that they probably wouldn't have brought out before. And I think the Lions just have to really be ready for it.
And to me, it's not just the Lions are good, so we got to take our best shot against them. I think there's some legitimate hate for the Lions across the league that's starting to develop, right? We certainly know Vikings fans hate the Lions right now. I have to imagine the Rams have a certain level of hate for the Lions. I mean, remember Tyler Higbee got injured in that game too, and Matthew Stafford went straight up to Kirby Joseph.
There's definitely there's a through line of Kirby Joseph in a lot of this too.
True.
About whether or not he's a dirty player.
But I think you can look at the Detroit Lions and they carry themselves with a significant amount of swagger now. Some would say it's cockiness. And I think that's going to be off-putting to some fans, some probably some players around the NFL who look at the Lions and be like, y'all didn't accomplish anything. You didn't even make the Super Bowl. Why are you acting like this? But I'm for it. Like, I think the Lions are not, in my opinion, going to take anyone lightly because they know they're not going to get taken lightly. But it is a new challenge for sure.
Yeah. They've officially shedded the lovable losers thing or the feel good story. And to Chris's point, and I mentioned this too in our season predictions on the website, like, yeah, they are the hunted. They are no longer the hunter. And look no further than week 3, right? The Cardinals game is the inverse of what happened in 2021. Remember when the Cardinals came to Ford Field and the Lions smacked a Cardinals team that was pretty good?
Yeah.
And they were set to be a playoff team. And it's going to happen in the inverse in 2024. You have a young, upstart Cardinals team the Lions are going to have to learn.
A coach in Arizona who really kind of goes for those kind of games too in Gannon.
Zoom. Explosive plays. The point though, I think, is with the Lions, they had to learn how to win, right? Like we heard Dan Campbell talk about that so much, like learning how to win a football game. Now it's learning how to win a football game from start to finish, because you're getting everybody right from the tip, right from kickoff. Like it's everything full go. Not that it isn't always, but like it's a different way to learn how to win because you're getting, to your guys' point, everybody's best each week.
All right, can I go on with my second?
Yeah. Let's just go right back from the top. We'll just go back up and just rotate through again. So yeah. Second point for concern.
Yeah, so Ryan was saying the offense is the most important part of the team, and I would agree. And what's the most important part of the offense? The engine under the hood, as Dan Campbell refers to it, the offensive line. Now, we've all crowned the offensive line. They're the best in the league. Penei Sewell's a beast, best center in the league. I'm not going to argue with any of those individual things, but I think it's worth considering that the Lions have 3 guys on that offensive line who are 30 or older. Kevin Zeitler is going to be 34. I think Taylor Decker just turned 30. And Graham's 32-ish. it's reasonable to believe that all three of those players have already accomplished their best season. The Lions cannot afford regression in this part of their game. It holds everything together. It holds their running game together. It holds Jared Goff together because we know he's not at his best under pressure. What quarterback is, but him in particular goes from like a top 5 quarterback with no pressure to a bottom 5 quarterback under pressure. So the offensive line needs to stay where they are and not slip. And they're just at a point in their careers where we never want to say it, we never want to admit it, but there could be some regression there. I'm sure hoping there isn't. I mean, Frank Ragnow is the second youngest guy on that team, and his foot's 40 years old. It's a little bit concerning. Am I shaking at night? Like, no, this entire segment is nitpicking. But I'm just saying, if there's a little bit, don't be completely surprised if there's some regression. And we've already kind of talked extensively about, like, dear God, what if one of these guys gets injured? Because
depth right now is it's a bit of a nightmare.
Right. And so you're talking about older guys who probably take longer to recover from injuries if there are any. And there could be a little bit of regression there. I'm not counting on it, but it's something to keep an eye on and something that, you know, if it happens, don't be completely surprised.
I think the people trying to assuage their concerns about the interior of the offensive line and its depth are quick to say, well, you know, if Frank suffers an injury, it's okay because Graham moves over to center. I think that's one of the most overstated things I've heard all offseason long because love Graham, really great guard. Not sure he's really the best option at center. I mean, he is for this team because of his versatility and he only takes up one roster spot, right? Talked about it all offseason with training camp and having a true center. No, Graham, you get the best of both worlds, but there's a drop off. And then also, who are you replacing Graham with? Yeah. That's the bigger concern. Right. So like any of these injuries to aging guys, again, is for sure. I think that's warranted concern.
For me, the other concern comes. Sorry, we're on to Ryan now. I'm completely zoning out.
Yeah. Mine's quick.
I think you and me both have schedule concerns, so I think we dovetail into each other's point very well.
Yeah, it's the NFC North isn't a cakewalk. It's not the cakewalk that it was, quote unquote, a year ago. The Bears are a much better football team on paper. The Packers are, again, I'll say it again because everybody else is saying it, but they're really young and they've developed and they feel like they have their quarterback now. They're going to be a tough out. Even the Vikings with Sam Darnold, they still have offensive weapons and they still have Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator. So it's not like, I think in 2023, there was this sense of the Lions should go 5-1 in the division, which they didn't even do. They went 4-2. Yeah. But I think about all the teams that walk into circle. I always go back to the AFC East with like the Tom Brady years, right? Tom Brady could just look at that divisional schedule and say it's looking like 6-0, 5-1 at worst, right? Or even when he went to Tampa Bay and he's playing in the NFC South, it was like we're looking at 6-0 or 5-1 at worst. That's such a big chunk of your schedule that with that not being a cakewalk anymore, okay, it's a little bit tougher to get into the position to win the division, and B, if you don't win that division, you're on the road. You know what I mean? So it makes it tougher not only in the regular season but also for your playoff journey.
And it wasn't a cakewalk last year either. Like that's the thing that I like, especially towards the end of last year, right?
The Bears game at Ford Field, yeah.
Yeah, the Bears should have beat them twice. The Packers handled them on Thanksgiving. The Lions almost didn't win. Like the Vikings were 40, 30 yards away from winning the NFC North clinching game.
Yeah, Nick Mullins.
With Nick Mullins at quarterback. Like the Lions could have very well gone 3-3 in the division. And even that may have been fortuitous given like the way some of those games played out.
Yeah. And I mean, for mine, it kind of factors into this considering a lot of this NFC North is backloaded into the schedule. It seems like every year seems to be fairly loaded into the, like, I don't think they play, what is it, like Green Bay, they play at the start of November. And then Chicago, it's like late December, late November, late December. Like they're all loaded in here. And that kind of goes into my point that I have concern about is after the bye, which is early this year, there's really no breaks for this team at all. Like Tennessee's probably not going to be a very good team, but you've got to play Houston. You've got to play Jacksonville. You've got to play Indianapolis. Suddenly all those teams in the AFC are like potentially going to be good. I mean, the AFC South are going to potentially be good this year. Jacksonville certainly needs a very good year to justify everything they've done. Dallas is going to be once again a favorite to go to the NFC Championship. And we've talked about this before too, but there is a point in the schedule in late November where the Lions are playing 3 games in 11 days because they have to play a Sunday game, whip around to Thanksgiving, and then that next week, and then they play a Thursday night football. Like we've talked about this before, Jeremy. That's a lot of football in a very short amount of time. And then you come right out of that and you have to have a homestand against the Buffalo Bills. And guess what? The rest of your schedule after that is road on Chicago, late December, San Francisco near the end of the season. Like, I think I'm not saying the Lions are going to completely crumble, but there is a lot of scenarios with tight win windows with tight win-loss windows and a tight playoff race that could see the Lions stumble down the stretch here for no fault of their own. They could still be a very good team, and they could still, just by how the NFL is this competitive and how much is on their plate, that is a tough road at the end of the year. That's a really tough road.
The perils of being a first-place team is that you have to play a first-place schedule, and that means a lot of good teams in the NFC or AFC and every good team in the NFC, and a lot of primetime games too, which messes with kind of like the equilibrium, right? The weekly schedules of being predictable and being on those 1 o'clock games. Dan Campbell said it many times before. Like, it's really nice to just have those 1 o'clock games every single week and get into a routine. The Lions are not going to have that in their favor this year.
Creatures of habit. Wait, so I just want to make sure Chris is talking about that 3-game stretch. Are you worried about the Colts? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. I didn't know you were a general.
Hold on.
Colts
Give me
alarmist.
this. Is Anthony Richardson out for the year at that point, or is he play?
Oh, easy. Come on. Florida
No.
fans.
Legitimate question.
Legitimate
question. Because I like Anthony Richardson. I like AR-15.
Mobile quarterbacks. Lions still haven't proven they can solve that riddle.
That is another one of those concerns too.
You know what might help them though against mobile quarterbacks?
Yeah, bulking up, toughening up, some of that righteous felon craft jerky and meat sticks, which is the official meat of the Pride of Detroit POD cast. And we've got a 20% offer for you. And time's running out on it. You got to get it right now. Stock up right now. Get it for the season. Someone asked if we would shout him out because he bought $63 of it. KG, yes, hello, but also, you know what? Those are rookie numbers. You can pump those numbers up because we're giving you another 20% off with POD20 at checkout at righteousfelon.com. And listen, each bag of jerky has 16 to 20 grams of protein. Each meat stick they sell, yes, they sell meat sticks. Adult Slim Jims. They're great. 8 grams of protein in those. Righteous Felon is based in Westchester, Pennsylvania, using locally sourced, all-natural Black Angus beef, and they pride themselves on superior quality, revolutionary branding, and unique flavors that go beyond the stereotypical jerky offering, like Nelson Mandela, their air-dried jerky biltong, which has a lot of dill in it.
Cracked pepper
and I'm not just calling me... What's that?
Cracked pepper and dill.
Cracked pepper and dill. And Jeremy is a dillweed. That's right. I still have my truffle. I still have a bag of Truffalo Bill sitting right here that I will tear into. Truffle flavored jerky. And again, if you go to righteousfelon.com up through week 2 of the NFL season, you're going to get 20% off your order. We're going to have a 15% discount for you here all year round. But if you want 20% off your order, buy in bulk, you'll support us. You'll support Righteous Felon. You'll support yourself with meat. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Need it.
When that Jared Goff MVP plus 2,000 bet hits, that's going to be a lot of meat, isn't it?
Better believe it.
Believe it. righteousfelon.com, promo code POD20 at checkout. When we come back on the Pride of Detroit POD cast, oh yeah, it's time to hit the Kool-Aid. It's time to really hit the Kool-Aid. It's time to really get nuts. It's time to really get nuts. We also got predictions here, so this is going to be a long podcast. Strap in. We'll be right back.
All right, gotta put this away. Gonna eat it
all. Can I do a serious note for a second? I just got told something from one of our friends at Roar the Lions.
Sure.
And I do need to retweet it from my account. Thank you for everyone who's been supportive of us and supportive of our friends over at Roar the Lions UK, who is our unofficial UK branch. I know we've gone on their podcast plenty of times, and I've been subjected to 3-hour mock drafts with them all the time. Matthew Turner did share this news that in May 2024, that one of their members, Steve, which you can find on Twitter at ZeroDark40, was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. He's been put in an innovative treatment, which has prolonged his life, but has been kept sane with the very help of important charity. And there is a link to that charity on at ROTL_UK on Twitter. I urge all of you to go check that out right now.
That's terrible to hear, man.
Yeah, that is. Kidney cancer is what my dad had, so I know exactly what that's like going through all these innovative treatments and things like that, and trying to find the chemical cocktail. It's tough.
Yeah, so they're running a fundraiser for a place called in United Kingdom called Maggie's Edinburgh. So they have a link to that on their feed, and I'm just going to ask everyone to check that out right now. Because I know we do plenty. We do in November. We do, we raise funds for was it Alzheimer's? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I am blanking out. Oh, for Alzheimer's, excuse me. But yeah, no, there's plenty of diseases around there that need your help as well. And all prayers out to Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. I go back and forth with him pretty often on Twitter about the intersection of sports and music, which always tickles my fancy. So
Yep.
Go support him any way you can, if you can.
All right.
Alerts. Yeah, let me get to a bunch of alerts from people here on Twitch. There was one on YouTube, and I can't seem to pull it back up. But someone became a member over on YouTube, and
You're a turd.
Maybe I'll
Yeah,
have
let me
to
pull that. I need to pull. I forgot I need to pull up YouTube as well.
Well, let me get through the Twitch alerts, and then I'll figure out the YouTube stuff as well. I got to scroll so far down. 30-some minutes ago. All right. First of all, thank you for everyone who hung out in Chris's pre-stream over on twitch.tv/nodecaf, and the 30 of you that followed him from there to here.
Thank you. I know it's very humble over there, but I'm incredibly busy this week. I'm going to go see the Tigers in San Diego, but hoping in the season we can start to bring that back a little bit more and do some more stuff so I can keep some of my own sanity and kind of do some stuff for myself. Like, as I said, I did a podcast with Talking Football this week, and Riley O'Brien interviewed me on a lot of things. And for those of you who don't know me, my interests go far beyond football sometimes too. And sometimes I just need to flex my thoughts on other things. And I appreciate everyone who hangs out on those streams where I talk about that and Lions and everything else. So thank you.
All right, let's get to some subscriptions. The
important stuff,
man,
people giving us money.
The respected man, 41 months subscribed to us. Appreciate that, buddy. LJB Ruff, 53 months says, "Oh, Sunday night." A rare one out of me. You're muted, so whatever you're trying to say, Ryan. Didn't hear it. Now you're just moving your mouth.
I gave you a 7 out of 10.
All right, I'll take it. Junk Trunk, 27 months, says, "Go Loins." Q-Man, 8 months, says, "Let's go." Joshua Mercer did submit a request for the adequate luchador. I'm gonna allow dealer's choice on that one. Do we want to do it now? We could save it for after the game or next Monday, because I don't think we're gonna do it after. I don't think we're gonna podcast Sunday night.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a problem because I know I need to do a radio hit that Monday evening as well. Um, I hate to keep doing this where I keep welshing on the requests. Oh, there it is.
You also got a request for the Olive Garden shirt. If you, man, oh, he just left it. Doesn't have his headphones in. Never mind. I'm just gonna get to the other alerts. Laser Mouse, thank you for the 13 months. Scotty Questions, 27 months says LFG
Really
week
should have had this
1.
on from the get go.
We love it. 27 months. That's a long time. It's a lot of babies.
27.
It's a lot of babies.
I would guess like 3-ish. You got a request for the Olive Garden shirt. Do you still have? He didn't have his headphones in again. Olive Garden shirt.
Oh God, I don't even know where that is. You'll have to refund that one.
You need to go find it, sir.
I know.
It has one purpose, which means when we're on here, you need to know where it is. It's
Yes,
the
I
only
have-
3
I have-
hours of the week you need to know where
I
it's
know.
at.
I know. I know. Come on, man. I'm comfy in this hoodie right now. Has Chris? Yes, I did put out the Olive Garden video. I put that out last year, actually.
It's true. He did. Facts.
Let me go find it. I think I set it to unlisted on my YouTube page. Let me go, because I do have a small YouTube channel where I just kind of put stuff where I want to share with people. So let me see. Let me go
Ross
find it.
Ginter, Twitter is the place to submit mailbag questions and just hashtag it AskPOD.
POD.
All right. Let me keep going through these. We got through Scotty questions. Tay G, thank you for the 5 months. Says, let's go Loins. Ashkar, 21 months. Says, Chris, Ryan, and Jeremy. LFG.
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 JP is me. 23 months. Says, Goff's average depth of target will be at least 15 yards this game. Wow. That would be something.
It would be double digits. What now?
That's like basically double what he normally does. Maybe even more than that.
I'm all here for it though, because that means like what, 9 targets to Jameson Williams.
It means he's getting pass protection too. If he's
Oh
holding
man,
onto the rock that long.
love that. No Aaron Donald to block though.
True.
You know,
They got a couple other guys though. Archerino, thank you for the 19 months. Says, is Meek Robertson good? No news is good news. I would presume so. Based on what Dan Campbell said today, basically saying like if he's kind of the only one we're not really sure on. Now I know a lot of people heard that comment or saw the tweets from that comment and said, "Oh, does that mean DJ Reader's playing?" And I would certainly not jump
assume
to that
that.
conclusion.
Yeah.
We'll see. So tomorrow is actually going to be the Lions' first practice, a little bit different out of the ordinary. But we'll get an attendance report tomorrow, but we won't get the injury report until Wednesday. It's a little jumbled of a schedule, so you'll get like half of an injury report tomorrow just based on our attendance taking.
Yeah. There's part of me that just wants them to like just take your time. There's no rush. You know what I mean? We talk about how they've been able to just cycle through guys next to Ali McNeil. Now, DJ Reader in there instead. Awesome. Should love that. But I don't know. That I kind of go back to, you know, why not just give him the first 4 weeks off? You know what I mean? Like if they would have.
You can't do that. You didn't put it. You took him off pup.
But that's what I mean.
It's a
Like
waste.
I kind of would have just liked.
Oh, you
him
would
to
prefer that.
prefer that route.
That's kind
where
of
it's
what I
like,
thought they were going to do early on, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's why he was on, Bubble Watch for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, what odds do you give Reader to play on Sunday? 15.
A non-zero number.
I'd say 15. Yeah, I think Pecco, as James Will said, like I think Pecco's currently on the practice squad. I think you see him elevated, the temporary elevations that you get on Saturdays, rather than. At first, I thought they were just going to eventually sign him to the 53. I think maybe they will, but it won't happen until week 2 because it's kind of gross, and I don't love that the Lions do this, but every team does it. But the NFL rules state if you're an NFL veteran and you're on the week 1 roster, your entire salary for the entire year becomes guaranteed. And NFL teams have now worked around that loophole by essentially placing those guys on the practice squad, elevating them for week 1 and then signing them to the 53 in week 2. I don't love that teams do that. I understand why they do. You got to play the system as it is.
Yeah, it's kind of scummy.
And with the guy, the tough part about it for Pecco in particular is he might not be on the roster for the entire year. Like, once DJ Reader's healthy, once Broderick Martin's healthy, do you need 3 defensive tackles or 3 nose tackles on your team? I mean, not really. And so
kind of seems like overkill.
Right. And so maybe that's why the Lions are like, well, why are we going to pay for a full season of Pecco when we don't plan on him being on the roster in November?
Full time, yeah.
I get it, but it still feels not great. Anyways, let me get back to the alerts. There's your Discord
Noted.
link.
I was going to say, noted socialist Jeremy Reisman.
Oh boy,
Not interested in the exploitation of labor.
We're not going down. We already went down this road once at the very top of the show. We're not doing it again.
I will say, because I did see someone in YouTube say, like, there's no I in team. Cool, but they don't get paid. It's not like these guys get paid extra. Like, they get bonuses for how well they do in the postseason and everything, but not enough to really justify this kind of chicanery. Like, you're dealing with professionals here. Like, remember that always and forever. You're dealing with professionals here, not true athletics.
All right.
Yeah.
Key Rock, thank you for the 17 months. Says, glad we all back together. We sure are. Matt Sick, 26 months subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. Big Daddy, 187. Thank you for the 28 months. Says, let's get ready for some football. 3 days away from NFL football.
And like really good football.
Yeah.
Like,
Thursday's got a great game.
Thursday
even Friday.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo, yeah.
Go
assuming
Eagles?
It gets played.
Go Eagles.
What is there a weather thing?
I think there's wildfires down there right now.
I didn't know that.
Which is yeah, and already I think the belly aching coming out from Eagles camp about playing the game down in Brazil is very loud. It's more the wildfires than anything that could end up seeing this thing get canceled and turned into a Monday night doubleheader.
Lions One Pride, thank you for the 13 months, says LFG. The Lions will go 12-5 this year. Oh, we're gonna give you guys some record predictions ahead of when they're dropping on the website, so you guys are special. Justin Singer, thank you for the 31 months. Says, can't wait for Sunday night. Let's go. Big Al, 46 months. Who says 45 months? No, 46 months. Al says, didn't we just start this thing yesterday? Super Bowl bound. Whew. D-Man, 45 months. Alien Vivitor, 42 months. Says, is there anyone on this team that doesn't, quote-unquote, fit? We've had the fan least favorites, Sudfeld, Will Harris, Amani Oruware, Kabinda, etc. go. Who's the most unpopular person on the team right now? It feels like a rude question to ask, but I'm also kind of curious.
I feel like that's going to turn against certain guys who haven't really played much.
Oh,
who the Lions have spent draft picks on between Sorsdahl and Broderick Martin.
Twitch is all over it.
Yeah, what?
It's Vildor.
Oh, Vildor. Yeah, I mean,
it's also not. I agree with JPB. Not quite the same. Not quite fair, I should say.
No, it's not. Like, but I remember the massive amount of pushback when I was saying, like, even just Vildor had a good game. We're just going to keep holding one play against him.
Yeah.
I don't even want to blame Vildor. He was a victim of circumstance. You want to blame anybody? Blame Brad Holmes.
How dare you?
How dare I? Heresy.
To be fair, this wasn't... I mean, the original question is there any players that don't fit? And I think the answer is decisively no.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be here if they weren't. Anyways, I just took a big bite. I had to swallow that.
Nice.
LJ Featured, thank you for the 11 months subscribed to the channel. Flint Town, 47 months subscribed to the channel, says, I'm back, ladies and gents. Welcome back, Flint Town. Scotch Votary, 13 months, says, looking forward to a competitive year. Let's go. I see what you're doing there, Scott. You don't want to say the words. I'll say them for you. Looking forward to a Super Bowl year. Got it. Austin Mammoth, 24 months, says this first segment is making me want to poop my pants. Guys, it's all about breaking you down, building you back up. If you want
I also think we need bowel control now.
Maybe.
Like, that's what the season is about. We're being the hunt. I know, like, it's being hunted. You got to keep your wits about you. You got to show that you have bowel control. You don't want to let it go while in flight.
Although I am on record in this podcast maybe 2 weeks ago saying pooping your pants is great. I don't remember the context behind it, but I said something to that.
Yeah, to that effect you did.
Ken Jammin, thank you for the 38 months subscribed to the channel. The Dizzy Wizard, great name, 10 months subscribed to the channel, says ready for Sunday, let's go. Jamich, 12 months subscribed to the channel, full year, says, as we say in retro Twitch, that's almost a year. Okay. All right, we're caught up on Twitch. I do have a couple things I want to say with Twitch as well. First of all, y'all got us to Partner Plus, the first level of Partner Plus, which means we're now getting a 60-40 split from Twitch subs, which is awesome. Thank you so much. We did that. By the way, that required 3 consecutive months of at least 100 paid subs. We were not even live.
We weren't live for most of those months.
In June, we weren't live at all, and we still got to that level. So June, July, August, and now September is when we're reaping those benefits. So thank you so much for all that. I'm not sure we're ever going to hit the next level, which would get us to 70-30 split. It required 300 paid subs, and that doesn't include gifted subs. 300 individuals paying for their subs doesn't include Prime subs either. But either way, that's super cool for you guys to do that.
Rock.
Especially when we weren't even live. It's amazing.
No, that piece of context makes it like insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to reward that behavior, the Dizzy Wizard found out I might need to change the emote because it's not great, but you guys have requested a fuck the refs emote for a long time, an FTR. And so there is one there now available for subscribers. I don't love it. I think it could be done better.
I can make one in the same font as the other ones I've made.
Okay.
Because I made those FTB, FTV. Or actually, do I even have FTV in here? Because I think no, I don't. It's on our Discord. I'll have to send you the Fuck the Vikings one too. But I will definitely also make an FTV and an FTR.
There's also a new Zazu emote in there from over the weekend.
I could probably even make them zebra striped too. Alternate black and white.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. I really got to move over the Jared Goff one from my own personal channel too. Goff with the bling.
There was something else that I wanted to say, and I don't remember what it was. But if it comes to me, I'll say it. It's September.
Okay.
That was the other thing. It's September, which means you get 25% off subs. It is worth noting that while we were on hiatus, they did raise the price of subs on Twitch from $5 to $6. So if you want it back at $5, now's the month to do it.
And if you're on YouTube, the good news is you can just give us money.
Sure. There's memberships on YouTube as well, which basically serves the same thing as a Twitch subscription. And so someone did become a member, and I got to go and find out who that was. So in the meantime, you guys talk about something. I'm done talking.
I want an emoji of Jeremy's face blended into a fire alarm. But I also want him saluting.
I want him blended
because he's
into a blanket.
General alarmist.
Oh,
I'm a member. And
I was trying to go for a wet blanket thing. I need him like wrapped up in a blanket.
We should get
Dripping.
Jeremy's face on Towley. That's what we should get.
Don't forget to bring your towel.
Don't forget to bring your wet blanket.
Right
I know everyone's gassing up for NFL, but what'd you think of week 1 for college football, Ryan?
I missed it. It was fun. It was good. It was good watching.
You missed it as like you didn't watch a lot of it, or you missed it
No,
as in like you
I
missed
missed
college
it.
football? Yeah.
I missed it. Yeah. Like I didn't realize how much. I'll be honest. I'm like my stomach's in knots about the NFL season. Like, not because I'm like worried or concerned or anything. It's
Yeah.
just
No, there's expectations this year. I get it.
yeah.
I totally get it.
I mean there were expectations last year too, but like now the expectations are even higher. And
Yes.
there's something about being able to just watch college football on Saturday and unplug and just root for, chaos.
Root for a Michigan State team that has no real expectations to it.
I I didn't watch a single down of Michigan State football on Friday.
That is probably so. There was one thing I wanted to bring up from that Michigan State game to you, and I think I showed it to Jeremy, which was the running play being blown dead for lack of forward progress, which was clearly not. Ended up being irrelevant. Aiden Childs like went in for the rushing touchdown the next play, but
Mm,
I don't think I've even seen that in high school football, where a guy is in the middle of a spin motion and they blow the play dead.
mm. I think
Which
my
was
favorite Michigan related thing, because I did not see that, but my favorite Michigan related thing was the the tweet that was quote tweeting the video evidence of Fresno State and Michigan getting into a kerfuffle in the locker room area, and somebody quote tweeting it and saying, "How dare Michigan State do this?"
Well, listen, I'm happy now to represent the Big Ten. I'm happy
They,
to see
they
that
have to change the name. What are we
I-
doing? What are we doing at this point?
it's been a long
Aren't
past
there
10,
18
but
teams?
yeah. We'll get two more. We'll go up to 20. Say we now as the USC guy in here, but I do appreciate that everyone in the Big Ten was kind of shitting on very much so the new mode of rooting for your conference, shitting on USC, won't be able to handle the Big Ten, won't be able to the Big Ten. They beat one SEC team, and suddenly everyone is like being like, congratulations to USC, welcome to the Big Ten. Except for my one friend who is a dual Michigan State, Ohio State fan, who just sent me the all-time record between USC and Michigan State, and is all like, because he was like making fun of like some video they did, which had the Trojan, like the USC players in a Trojan horse. And he's like, that's wrong. The Trojans weren't in the horse. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. The horse is ours now. And then he sent me the record of like Michigan State, USC all time, which is like tied 4-4. I'm just like, okay, dude.
I don't think you're as much a Michigan State and Ohio State fan as you are just like not a Michigan fan.
That is very true of Ross.
Okay.
To be fair, Ross is a very good friend of mine. I used to run a college football podcast with him.
Yeah.
But he has double hate in his heart now for Michigan, that's for sure. But he did also he also did his undergrad at Michigan State and then his grad at Ohio State. So
I like Sports Turf Pro. Their suggestion for the new Big Ten.
big ass conference. The BAC.
And the logo is just goatsy.
That ring is a national title ring. Is a national championship ring.
All right, let's can we fast forward past all of this right now?
Scrubbing all of this from our brain.
Yeah. Do these don't get taken down, right? These stay up.
For now.
We might put it on the newsletter just because it's that valuable.
Well,
This is hardcore Pac-12 little brother energy. Chris Jake on YouTube. There is no more Pac-12, so I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think USC needs to be a little brother to anyone.
Swagakaze fan. Jeremy, are the Lions overworking Hank Fraley? 3 project players. This is very much a Labor Day question.
It's true.
Are they overworking Hank Fraley?
I don't know. I mean, you could make the argument that most offensive line coaches need to spend a lot of time coaching their starters, and you could certainly make the argument that Hank Fraley doesn't have that much work to do with those guys. I just mentioned how they're all, 6-7 year veterans outside of Panay, and Panay doesn't require that much either. So
Hank Fraley has like 4 kids that are graduated from college. Panay, who's like just graduating high school, and then he's got like 3 infants.
3 newborns.
Like, you're not really worried. Like, the other ones are pretty self-sufficient at this point.
Right. They're not going to get into trouble. They're not going to knock someone up. I'm very off
sorry.
color today. I'm not sure why.
I started this analogy. That was my fault.
You did. You did. I don't know what's going on.
Hank Fraley's being overworked and undercompensated.
I always love putting on this mask and then getting some people who are just dropping in. Who's the weirdo in the mask? My name's right next to me on. You can see it right there.
It's true. It's right there.
It's right there. It's right there. You can see it right there. You know exactly who is the weirdo with the mask. You don't need to ask that.
The 3 projects I would presume are Christian Mahogany. Is Mahogany considered a project? I mean, he's a rookie.
What?
Manu and Colby Sorstel, right?
Yeah, I think you can. Awashika is still kind of a project.
A little bit.
If he's not a project, then
Everyone say hi to Kyle Barber in the Twitch chat.
No.
hi, Kyle Barber in the Twitch chat.
Do Chris and Ryan plan on going to any games? I'll be at the Cardinals game.
Lions games?
Yeah.
No, I'm not planning on going to.
Have
any
you ever been to an
Lions
away
games.
game, Ryan?
No,
You should
I
try
haven't.
one.
I'm planning to go to one Lions game. The Super Bowl.
oh boy, oh boy.
Speaking of Kyle Barber, Baltimore beatdown with the 27-month subscribe to the channel says, go Loins, go Ravens,
Ravens.
Super Bowl incoming. Ravens?
Ravens.
Super Bowl incoming. Raise your hand if you would take a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl.
Raise your hand if you also predicted that.
Oh, I haven't looked at
I might
anyone's
have,
Super Bowl predictions yet.
I think the podcast is up now of Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger, Fox Football Sunday, which I got to do my predictions on. I might have predicted a Lions-Jaguars Super Bowl.
Oh wow,
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
a kitty party.
Jaguars over the Bills in the AFC Championship.
If I had to pick 5 teams to make the Super Bowl from the AFC, I don't think the Jaguars would make my list.
It's
I also had
that's
two.
a hot take.
I also had 2 playoff teams from the NFC South,
Oh wow,
and one team from the East.
one
That's
team from
fine.
the East I can buy. 2 teams
Yeah.
from the NFC South seems insane.
Falcons and Bucks?
Falcons and Bucks.
Not out of the realm of possibilities.
I need to see Baker Mayfield do what he did without Canales for.
Let me ask you
He
this.
does still
Consecutive
have
season.
Mike. He still does have Mike Evans. Like at the end of the day, he still has Mike
Yeah,
Evans.
the
to throw
hall,
to.
hall of really good for sure.
I cheated on you guys and did a podcast with Arif and John Ledyard.
What's new?
God damn it!
It was an NFC North preview, and we were asked a simple question, and I'm curious as to your guys' answer to it. How many NFC North teams are going to make the playoffs?
I only had 2. Lions and Packers.
What is the possibility of a third? Percentage-wise.
I think the math there dictates you're getting 1 team from the NFC East if you're going to get 3 from the NFC North. Because I think you're getting at least
So
2
no
from
wild
the NFC
card.
West.
So
I
no
agree.
wild cards from the West.
Yeah, no wild cards from the Western or East at that point. I'm sorry, South or
No, the
or
South.
East.
Yeah.
You'd get Rams.
So 1 from the West,
49ers,
2
probably.
wild cards from the North. Okay.
But then it's like, okay, Seahawks or Bears.
I don't think the Seahawks are going to be good at all.
I think Seahawks could take a step back. Their roster is overall team. I'm curious what the new coaching staff.
I also think the Rams, outside of Sunday, they're going to probably win the NFC West.
Ooh, take that 49ers.
This is hard to say coming off what just happened
Oh, I
to Ricky
forgot.
Pearsall.
You hate Shanahan, I forgot.
No, it's not that. But like my friend brought up a great point. And like this is hard to say given what happened to Ricky Pearsall, and I'm not trying to minimize this, but like all of the stuff the 49ers have gone through this offseason is like the drama of a team that's won the Super Bowl, except they didn't win the Super Bowl. And I know you said that this wouldn't be a problem, but there's still no Jeremy when we talked about this way back, but there's still no deal done with Trent Williams.
Yeah, I mean that it'll be. I'd assume it's going to be cleared out by the time we get to October. He could miss a couple of these first few games. I don't know what their schedule looks like right off the bat.
It's really hard. Sorry, go on. Ryan.
I was going to say the other thing about the 49ers is I was really hopeful that Ayuk was going to get dealt because I thought he's so important to what they can do on offense, and him coming back, to Chris's point though, like that drama that surrounds your team, and that I don't know, you're just like living in that constantly, all off season long, all summer long. It's like people, even the questions that you don't see getting aired, like people are constantly asking about Ayuk, and not just like contract or stuff like that, but like, hey, like not having him out there, how does that change things? And that's just like something that's like every day. And I just really want to see the 49ers fall flat on their face. Like they can still,
I just do not believe
they can still make the playoffs. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But like make the playoffs at 10-7.
They'll be a wild. They're not going to miss the playoffs. I had them as a wild card, but like, I also really can't keep doing this with Brock Purdy and just pretending like that somehow the 49ers like found this amazing thing. And like, I hate listening to people say like the 49ers are so smart from drafting Brock Purdy. You skipped over him 6 times.
Yeah, no, you can't
like
make that argument.
You can't make that argument. Like you skipped over him repeatedly. But at the same time, as good as he looked, we saw this exact same story with Jimmy Garoppolo. I need Brock Purdy to prove to me that he's not Jimmy Garoppolo.
They were still pretty good with Jimmy Garoppolo.
They were still pretty good with Jimmy Garoppolo. But Jimmy Garoppolo had a shelf life. And like a bad head of romaine lettuce, it was rough when it passed.
Oh, man. Completely non-football related, but I opened a can of mandarin oranges yesterday.
Oh, God.
That was best if goodbye 2022.
Oh, no.
It had white specks on the oranges, and I did not eat them.
You know what the worst is that I found a can in the back of my cabinet of some like canned fish that had expired.
You didn't
like, you lost me.
No. Let me tell you, it didn't explode or anything. But let me tell you, what can go like bad and be a real big mess is like canned seafood, because when that gas starts to build up, I'm glad I caught it. Is what I'm saying.
Can't remember. Canned fish in general makes me uneasy.
What, tuna?
That still makes me uneasy. I've even bought like the baggy the packets. Yeah. I have bought for them the packets before. Doesn't make me feel any better.
Don't sleep on the Seahawks, man.
I'll sleep all day on the Seahawks, please.
They got a lot of talent on offense.
Yeah, not with Geno Smith.
Yeah. I don't know. I very mixed feelings on the Seahawks. I'm kind of in a wait and see on the Seahawks. Like,
here's a good question. One surprise team. Because I think the problem is a lot of times when we do these predictions, we just kind of run back the same teams. Like, what's the one surprise team you guys have both that will be much better than people think, and one surprise team that'll fall flat on their face?
In the NFC or
in the general? NFL? If you want to do each conference, if you want to do whatever you want to do.
Fall flat on their face, I think it's the Jets.
Is that really a surprise though?
From every piece of NFL media that I've consumed, yes. Like everybody thinks the Jets like are not only a playoff team, but might win the AFC East.
Yeah, but all these people went to New York, are from New York. Like, you can't listen to them about the Jets.
I don't know. There's other people
but I think
too.
I can respect. So here's what I would say: fall flat in their face, and Aaron Rodgers stays healthy for the year.
Even if he doesn't play, like they've put all their eggs in that basket. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, even if he does get injured again, it's like, oh man, who could have predicted this? Oh, I don't know, just like science.
Yeah.
the greatest rivalry of all time with Aaron Rodgers. Science.
Science.
Facts. Logic.
Science. I got a fall flat on their face team that I think is a semi hot take. Miami Dolphins.
We're staying in the AFC East.
Yeah.
I don't think that's crazy hot, but at the same time, I know people kind of love them just because of the offense. But
Yeah.
I feel like the Miami brand took a massive hit with how bad they played in the cold last year. But
Right.
at the same time, everyone still loves Mike McDaniel. I cannot stand that man.
I don't have a strong feeling on him necessarily, but to me they're like the quintessential team of a example, I should say, of a team that just like stayed the same. They didn't
Yeah,
get,
no, that's
they
They're
didn't
like
get much better.
they're like running it back too much.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to make the argument like you kind of made with Ben Johnson, like I think there's a greater chance of someone figuring out Mike McDaniel's offense than there is Ben Johnson's offense.
Yeah. Chop Robinson. Forgot they drafted him.
I have a lot of candidates. Like I feel like any of the AFC North teams could just randomly fall on their face at this point. I don't know what's probably the most surprising.
AFC North.
AFC North.
I would say the Ravens falling on their face would be pretty surprising.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll fall hard in their face. I do have the Bengals winning that division, but
How many teams make the playoffs from that division?
Rubio, you right, man? Hold on a second. Probably two. I would say Bengals and Ravens. I think
I don't think
Browns-
the Bengals are going to make the playoffs. That might be my hot take.
That is a pretty high.
I don't know, but like I can't trust the Browns at this point. And I do think the Steelers are finally here's the thing I'll say. You want to talk about good bets, Ryan? I don't know if you can get odds on comeback player of the year,
Oh yeah,
but if the Pittsburgh Steelers make the playoffs,
Russell Wilson's winning that
Russell
award.
Wilson is winning that award.
I don't
like,
know.
it
if
doesn't
you can
matter what else
find
happens,
Odds
but-
on comeback player of the year.
Come on.
What year do you think we're living in, Chris?
But no, like I think the Steelers are due for a losing record, but I think the Browns are falling flat on their ass.
That's definitely not a hot take.
No, I know.
That is
I
an
know.
annual occurrence.
No, I know. I actually think the Denver Broncos are going to be better than people think this year.
Ooh.
Oh,
No, that's
that's-
actually, honestly,
That's takey.
I think that's a good pick. I do.
Big Josh Reynolds guy over here, huh?
It's a missing piece.
I think, in spite of the fact that the reason was terrible for them to draft Bo Nix, I also think that he's got a good team around. He's got like some good pieces around him for it.
Is he
And it's a
starting?
better defense. He's starting.
He is starting. Okay.
Yeah. He is starting. I would have real questions about Sean Payton's sanity if he went with Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson.
Real quick on comeback player of the year. I'm surprised that he is as far down on the list as he is, but here are the guys in order. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins. Are you sensing a trend here? Anthony Richardson, Sam Darnold. Then we get to our first non-quarterback, Nick Chubb. Then Daniel Jones.
No.
Oh the fuck! What's he coming back from? He's lived there forever.
He tore his something.
He tore his something and missed some time. Kyler Murray. I'm assuming that's just like coming back from the couch and playing Call of Duty. And then Russell Wilson at plus 3,500. So the difference
Good
between
value.
Aaron Rodgers
Good
at
value.
plus 140. Yeah.
I think that's
Still,
good value
I would
there.
say a dangerous play.
Oh my gosh.
It's spicy.
It's a little spicy. I still can't believe that Eberflus is like the favorite to win Coach of the Year.
Eberflus is almost my favorite to be first coach fired. No, it's not. But I actually think the Bears are going to be relatively good this year.
But honestly, though, who would be your first coach to get fired? Because
Dennis Allen. I think the Saints are smacking straight into the mantle of the earth and keep going.
It's not a bad.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I work with two Saints fans. None of them want to see Derek Carr play a single snap this year.
Yeah,
They
that's
have bought
fair.
completely in on Spencer Rattler. And guess who's not going to get the start out of the gate is Spencer Rattler. And that's probably for the best. Spencer Rattler probably needs some time to adjust to the NFL. But that Saints team is not good. That is not a good Saints team.
I think if I was going to go coach of the year, I'd go Raheem Morris in Atlanta. I think there was enough like goodwill drummed up over the offseason about like how he needed a second chance, and you know he's got the Rams shine on him and everything. Goes to Atlanta, easy division, win the division.
Some preseason shenanigans had me lose a little faith in him. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, but those decisions don't matter when you go 11-6.
MCDC Forever, who just subscribed for 3 months in advance, says Raheem Morris coach of the year and then fired after 3.5 years.
Do 2.5 years.
That's the Atlanta special.
And I'll still take the under.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Eagles go 8-9. Is Sirianni the coach in 2025?
No, I don't even, you want to talk about getting fired mid-season. He's not going to get fired. What's going to happen is about week 10, Big Dom is going to stage a mutiny, and Big Dom will be the first pipeline security officer to head coach in the NFL. And the Big Dom breakaway outer heaven NFL will last until the end of the year, and then I don't know what happens after that.
I'll take it one step further, Jeremy. If they don't win that division, I think he gets fired.
Ooh. What about Mike McCarthy?
Is he in the
same level of hot seat?
Who? For who?
Mike McCarthy.
McCarthy? His contract's expiring. He can't get fired.
Oh, is it? I mean,
he's on an expiring contract.
He can
so
still very much get fired. Like, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But that means Jerry Jones would have to pay someone else to coach that team.
Dak Prescott. I mean, he's clearly not. Dak Prescott's not going to be a Dallas Cowboy next year, right?
Where is he going? No, we don't need to go far down that rabbit hole.
Okay. I was going to say Minnesota.
Wow,
they never pay. The Cowboys never pay dead money. This is the secret beneath Jerry Jones and beneath the Death Star, the Shadow Commissioner, everything. He is a cheap old man, and he hates paying people that he doesn't need to pay.
So speaking of that was my point I wanted to make about the 49ers was Adam Schefter. It's so very clear that you had a conversation with John Lynch and you put in a tweet that Brandon Ayuk took the same deal that had been on the table since the beginning of August.
It's wild. Like,
can we talk about insiders trying to stunt on Ricky a little bit?
Like, embarrassing. That
R.I.P.
I mean, R.I.P. Ricky.
True one. We all miss sometimes.
He literally deleted his account, by the way. In case you
didn't see. All dogs go to heaven, you know?
By the way, the greatest part about that is that he actually did have the scoop on, like, 1 hour before that was announced that he was getting...
He had the scoop that it was the 49ers, yeah.
Yeah, like, he tweeted out the Pope with the white smoke coming out, basically saying, like, it's time for me to go, done. Right? Like,
yeah,
it's time for a new Ricky to step up. So he broke, in a very esoteric way, the Brandon Ayuk extension one last time.
It's the is it the Terminator gif?
Yeah,
the thumb going into the lava. Yeah, but I think that I mean that's kind of some bozo stuff. Don't put that out to the media. Who told that to Adam Schefter?
Yeah, I don't.
Schefter's it did feel like the insiders were doing a little bit too much of a victory lap over like they were talking about it too long. Like it was a couple days and I was still getting, POD notifications from Twitter that was like inside the signing of the Brandon Ayuk deal. It's like, who cares? We're on to other things. Ricky got shot. Okay.
Ricky got shot.
Can we move on to other things?
Yeah. I think part of that is just like the 49ers
You're talking about
really
the Twitter account, Ricky. Let me just be clear.
Yeah.
We're not making light of anything else that may have recently happened.
Oh, the other Ricky.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that also happened too.
It did.
By the way, somehow got shot in the chest and missed everything.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's Jay-Z.
over a watch, over a fucking watch.
By
You're
the
gonna
way,
pull up just
Dak to Seattle is a fantastic idea.
Dak's gonna go to the 49ers and we're all gonna hate it.
Oh,
And I'm also going to laugh that Brock
what?
Purdy will get kicked to
They
the
don't
curb.
have the money to do that. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
The salary cap is real in some respect. I think Dak Prescott should go to the New Orleans Saints. He
And
belongs
stop
there.
the rise of Spencer Rattler. How dare you?
That's fair. Yeah. Well, I would just really like a quarterback controversy between him and Taysom Hill. I think that'd be great for ratings.
Taysom Hill, the tight end.
Michael T. Dunn, thank you for the 40-month subscribe. Says JMO Waymo. Let's go. Nick the Greek has arrived. 100 bits says Matt Patricia's ample but presently incognito bosoms. Then another 100 bits says Matt Patricia's secluded nacho cheese bubble bath. Thank you, Nick the Greek.
What are we doing?
I think what we're doing is moving on to segment 2.
Yes.
Anytime Nick the Greek comes in here, it provides a perfect segue into
Segment
stopping what
2.
we're doing and going back to less nonsense. And I am 100% aboard. I'm going to take the cowboy hat off for now because I'm sweating. And it's now created a weird.
Yeah, I'm going to take this off just because I don't want this on when we're like recording segments, just in case we use them again. So
I will put it back on at the end of the segment. All right.
Oh my god, it's also getting itchy in there. I don't want people thinking I'm weird.
I just want to. I don't know if any of you guys saw this shirt.
That is very outdated.
It is outdated.
Why did you buy that? Did you buy that?
I did not buy this. I got this as a Christmas present in 2022.
Okay. That's
Wow,
acceptable.
that makes
then.
sense. Makes
Now
a
you
lot
just
of
wear it
sense.
because it's
Ironic.
ironic, I guess.
Dak is going to the Falcons. They're just collecting them all like Power Stones.
All right.
Whatever you stupid Marvel people have in your little silly movies.
Oh, Ian Cormier. Thank you for the Prime the YouTube membership. Forgot that I pulled that up. Ian, appreciate you, buddy.
Kyle, this just shows how little Kyle actually watches of us because he's like he just realized Ryan isn't in his dungeon. I'm like, Ryan hasn't been in his dungeon for months.
Yeah, I mean, also, Kyle, you missed a big part of the podcast because we weren't on the air anymore. We were literally in the dungeon.
I mean, you're. I think where you are has been described as a dungeon before by other people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call them I wouldn't call them people. Kids don't have rights.
Kids aren't people?
Not yet.
Ryan, I just need you on on record not agreeing with that, please.
Oh man! Wow. Segment 2, I suggested about.
Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. The timer's here.
Don't we want to talk about the things that like everybody wants to hear?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool.
Pride Detroit POD cast. It's time for the Kool-Aid. I do have this week later coming out the new Kool-Aid recipe. It's been a couple of years. It's time for a new one. Even though everyone else has taken the Kool-Aid recipe that I made and ran with it and got more press than me, but that's just how my entire career has gone, Jeremy.
Did you want me to pull out my violin?
No.
Okay.
I just want at least some acknowledgement of this very pathetic. Nobody likes the radio guy who says I did it first, but yeah.
But you were going to be that guy for a
I'm
second
gonna be
there.
that. Listen, man, it's in my DNA. I can't excise it fully. Just give me this. Just let me get this out real quick.
Instead of the tiny violin, let's break out the amplifier and amplify all the.
Let's get the Kool-Aid really going.
Yeah.
Let's add some mezcal to this mix.
Pull up the beer bong and let's chug.
Let's go.
Yeah, the volcano, everything. This is where we're going to talk about why this is going to be the year for the Detroit Lions.
What do you mean by that, Chris? What do you mean by that? What do you mean
You
by
know,
the
you know what
year?
I mean. You know what I mean. Give
Say
me
the
what I
words.
want.
Say the words.
Success.
Oh.
Uh,
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There it is. Just wanted to lead you on just for a little bit longer. The things that that we think will make the Lions the best team in the NFL at the end of the day. And if I may start, I have one succinct point to make. It's time to embrace it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to embrace it. The reason why the Lions, this is the year for the Detroit Lions, is because Dan Campbell is the best coach in the National Football League.
Woo!
Go ahead and embrace it. Embrace it right now.
Caliente.
Who's going to stop me? Who is going to stop me right now? You might have had some, maybe you had some like appeals to other guys, but like talk about a coach who is fully committed to running an organization, who is fearless on game day, who has a 360 bird's eye view of everything that's going on, and yet is a spiritual and emotional leader of his team that gets his guys to play, to buy in, come hell or high water, come tough times, keeps them level on good times, is everything you want from a coach. And it's time to admit that Dan Campbell is, I'm not even if I want to be reasonable here, I could stop at as one of the best coaches of the NFL. But for the sake of this segment, I am saying right now I can put down my chips that Dan Campbell will be the best coach in the NFL this year. And like, again, one of the best coaches in the NFL. Like skills that are extremely hard for anyone else to replicate. And we're starting to see it because other teams are starting to look for their Dan Campbell in their hires. He's a trendsetter.
The Lions are trendsetters in a lot of ways. And I think you could certainly make the argument that Dan Campbell is the best coach in a couple particular areas, right? In terms of motivation on a week-to-week basis, I'm not sure there's anyone else that can get me to run through a wall the way he does his team. And in a really smart, relatable way too, right? Like I feel like this season, the whole like, we're not going to take a step back, it takes more, right? I think that's the official line that's printed on t-shirts and printed on the walls. It takes more. I think that's a really smart angle to take because that is what you're fighting against, right? You're fighting against complacency. You're fighting against the fact that what you said in the first segment, teams are going to come at you guys. So it takes more to get to where you were last year. That was the message from the minute the clock hit 0 in the NFC Championship game. What coach is already like trying to motivate the team in the post-game presser when they lost? Like that is an elite skill of Dan Campbell, no doubt.
And motivation is such a tough thing in the NFL where you are dealing with professionals. You're not dealing with college kids, high school kids. You're not dealing with guys
100%.
who are entirely dependent on just getting extremely fired up. These guys have families to think about. They have paychecks to think about. They have the rest of their careers to think about because their career is the only way they're going to keep paying for their family through football. Like, so the fact that Dan Campbell is unequivocally a motivational coach in the NFL. And again, it feels like a disservice to just call him a motivational coach, considering like this is a guy who runs a very tight organization, very tight with his general manager, tight with his offensive coordinators, his position coaches, no organizational top down from the bottom, but also at the same time gets professional paid players like to have these talks to just buy into this culture that he's just made this culture from scratch, like Irk Russell did in Georgia Southern in the 80s or something. And I know that's really esoteric, but I'm going to stand by that. Like a guy who just came out of nowhere and built this culture from the ashes. Like that's worth something. That's worth a lot of things. And that's a lot of reasons why I'm looking at Ryan at Dan Campbell being a huge plus for the Detroit Lions.
I think that's right. And to Jeremy's point, a little bit. There's a lot more to it, but I think you should get to your point, Jeremy.
Well,
yeah, and yours dovetails into mine. Yeah,
it does. But I also want to say, let's not forget that game day decisions. You look at stuff like win percentage added. Dan Campbell is consistently in the top 3. So it's more than just like motivation and speeches and things like that. He is quite literally putting his team in the best place to succeed by making the right game day decisions, and that should not be overlooked.
Everybody called him the meathead, but then all of a sudden the meathead got a calculator. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yes, to my point, and the reason why I think this could be the year is because coaching continuity. Point to another contender in the NFC or AFC that has had their defensive coordinator for 4 straight years. Point to another one who has had their offensive coordinator for basically 3.5 years. You won't be able to find it. The Chiefs have had a new offensive coordinator since they brought in Matt Nagy a couple years ago. Granted, we know who's actually running the show there.
Sure.
The Ravens, new defensive coordinator this year. The Packers, new defensive coordinator this year. The Bears, new offensive coordinator.
Look at the Eagles after their Super Bowl run. Lost both their coordinators.
Yes.
Both their coordinators right out the gate.
I'm telling you, this sort of continuity is not common. And it is a absolute huge advantage. The defense is going to be in 4-1.
It came with challenges too. Like they fought off twice, taking away Ben Johnson, and once again we have to play the Ben Johnson watch at the end of this season.
To be taught by the same coaches and live in the same system, you get to learn the nuances of the game. You get to focus on the type of details that you only get from being. I mean, how many times have we been in Detroit and been like, of course this team sucks. Like, they're never going to learn anything. We're changing head coaches every 2-3 years. Not only the Lions not changing head coaches, they're not changing offensive coach. They're not changing defensive coach. The wide receiver, offensive line coach have been the same for a long time. The linebackers coach has been the same for a long time. Yes, there's some changes between those things, but you go from like one really good running backs coach to another. You go from one good tight ends coach to another. There's so much continuity in there that everyone in the building is rowing in the same direction in a way that only comes from years and years of repping the same type of stuff over and over again. It's rare, and it's don't take it for granted.
Yeah, and to that point too, the one name you didn't mention as far as new coaches go, Terrell Williams, right? And you think about adding him. Where's one thing where you haven't seen somebody not just saying nice things about him, but going out of the way to have like glowing reviews? Dan Campbell calling him the best defensive line coach in football. Aaron Glenn loves him some Williams. All the players talk about how much easier it is to play with him because it's like we're just like focused on violence and using our hands and getting past guys. Like there isn't too much thinking with it. It not only speaks to, yes, the continuity of you have the same guys in there, but when you bring someone into the fold, all of those other coaches are on the same page. They're like, this is a good move for our team.
Yeah, it's been a coup to keep Ben Johnson around. It's been more of a coup, exactly that, because like the best units in the NFL are ones who have had these guys around for a long time. And like, look, reputation might be mixed on someone like Aaron Glenn. I know we'll get to him a little bit later, but like when you can talk your talk, get your guys, and do everything, it goes a long way. It really does. And I think, again, kind of my point too, they've gotten everyone that these guys want for these individual coaches too. So
let's get to it right now.
Ryan. Yeah.
My first reason of why this could be the year, we talked about the offense being the most important part of this machine in Detroit. The Lions are finally going to have a top 10 defense. The Lions are going to have a top 10 defense. And if the Lions have a top 10 defense, even if the Lions have an above average defense, and in 21, they were 28th in DVOA on defense. In 22, they were 23rd in DVOA on defense. Last year,
it's been exactly 10 years since we could say this.
Last year, they flirted a little bit with it and then kind of fell down the stretch. You know, they lost to Lee McNeil. They finished 18th in defensive DVOA. I think this year they finish in the top 10. And if they finish in the top 10, quite literally, you can only find a handful of football teams that if their offense is top 10 and their defense is top 10, we're talking about Super Bowl teams. I think you have all of the pieces. You have exactly what you know, exactly to Jeremy's point, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to railroad it, but like you got what you wanted.
We can get into it. It's fine. I'll
Okay.
jump in if you
Yeah.
want to just
Hell yeah.
prove your point, because I think the reason, my second reason why I think this is the Lions' year is Aaron Glenn finally has everything he wants. He finally has the pieces to run the defense that he wants. Because it feels like at this time in the past 2 or 3 years, it's always been, we got to change course. Someone either gets injured in training camp or isn't as good as they expected. So we got to go from a 1 gap to a 2 gap to a 1.5 gap. We got to stop playing man as much. We got to drop into zone a bunch because we don't have the guys that we thought we did. Now he's got the rare Sam linebacker that he's tried so hard to find over the past 3 years in Derek Barnes. He has 2, 3, 4 press man corners that can make them play a bunch of man on man. They have a potential opposite pass rusher in Marcus Davenport to give them some relief to Aiden Hutchinson. They have interior pass rushing threats in DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil. And they have Brian Branch, who's going to play on every single possible snap that he can, whereas last year, at times, it was under 50%. The excuses are not only over to have a good defense, Aaron Glenn has everything he could realistically possibly want in a salary cap league to excel. And yes, top 10 defense should be the floor of expectations for this unit.
And like, just look at how much was pumped into what we consider to be his background, his profession, into the secondary, into DBs, between Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw and all the free agents they picked up. Like this, they have completely overhauled what was arguably one of the worst units one of the worst units of a playoff team last year in the DBs, and has turned them into, just on paper, something that looks fantastic. It sucks that Emmanuel Mosley's already on IR, but like everything else, like, we had questions, didn't we, Jeremy, about where to play Brian Branch. And I think at this point they've kind of solved a lot of that. They seem to know what they want to do. They have a very clear picture of what they want to do with that. And they've got everyone they want up front. And they've got, the linebackers they've kind of sorely, like this. I think, yeah, this feels like the dream for Aaron Glenn.
I think you could also make the argument that I've seen out there of people saying, well, yeah, like different doesn't always mean better, because wasn't that the case last offseason? Wasn't it bringing in CJ, GJ, and you draft Brian Branch and, Emmanuel Mosley, he might work out. Cam Sutton, oh man, okay. Feel a lot better about the room, right? I think it's different this year. I think it's different because the kind of resources, not just 1 draft pick, 2 draft picks, your top 2 draft picks. And not only just that, you're moving up in the draft to take the cornerback and to not take your foot off the gas. And it's another cornerback. And DJ Reader is so freaking important, dude. DJ Reader is going to be so critical to all of the success, I think, that happens on defense, because, Jeremy, we talked about this when they hired Aaron Glenn. The incremental improvements in New Orleans, and then like in the 3rd year, it was like to the moon, right? I don't know. I'm just saying.
We're just saying.
Could be it.
Now I get to go spicy again. My other reason on why this is the year for the Detroit Lions: if the Detroit Lions are making it as far as they do, that means Jared Goff. Those 2 words, Jared Goff. I know there's questions about, you got to keep him protected, you got to keep him everything, but like, Jeremy, I mean, you've seen him at camp, and I hate to just hype up what's happening in training camp and everything, but what's the word? What's the C word everyone keeps using on Jared Goff?
I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry. Comfortable.
Comfort.
Like, he looks more comfortable than ever at this point. I think that you get another year of rapport with his receivers, another year of rapport with Sam Laporta, another year of rapport with a wide receiver that Ryan's going to bring up. another year running this offense. This is kind of a lot going on, kind of the Ben Johnson coaching continuity too. And I think that whatever questions you had of Jared Goff, kind of like if the Lions go as far as they do, that's the last time anyone has to question Jared Goff ever again at that point. Like, and I think there's going to be new parts of Jared Goff's game that are going to get unlocked this year, but we'll see. But is there any questions to Jared Goff anymore? Is there any questions to Jared Goff anymore?
I think we're entering the first season since his time in LA where there needs to be like an adjusted conversation about him, because yes, there had always been questions about him going into the following season. Last year it was okay, he finished 2021 strong, or 2022 strong.
Expectations. It's always expectations. Can Jared Goff live up to expectations?
Can he carry
every
that along?
Year?
I think at this point we have to realize Jared Goff is who he is, and I know we said that when he came here. No, he is who he is now, which is a much better quarterback than he was when he arrived. He has become a master at the pregame, at the pre-snap reads. He remains one of the most accurate passers when it comes to the middle of the field and short passes, which is, guess what? A lot of people view that as a negative. That's where the game is going. The average depth of target has been plummeting over the last couple of years, and the Lions ahead of the curve on that one again. Doesn't mean he can't throw the deep ball, but he certainly looked a lot better doing it to J-Mo this offseason than he has in previous offseasons. And it's not something that's outside of his toolbox either. Like, he was doing it a ton in LA. And so, yeah, I think we just have to have this conversation. I think the conversation just probably should have shifted before. It's definitely shifted now. He is not this bottom half of the league, like, yeah, he needs everything. Like, remember that? Like, we probably said this.
Everything has to go perfectly.
Everyone needs to be perfect around him. He needs to have all these weapons. He needs to have a perfect offensive line. No, he elevates players. He does. Let's see how Josh Reynolds does in Denver. Let's see how DeAndre Swift does wherever he is now. Chicago?
He's with the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's with Chicago.
I'm telling you, he is so much better of a quarterback than anyone outside of Detroit gives him credit for.
I will go as far as saying, and I know Ryan wants to weigh in, but not only do we not have to do this conversation anymore, but it's like, oh, can Jared Goff live up to expectations? I've got to ask questions. Does Jared Goff does Jared Goff thrive off of expectations and challenge at this point?
I still think there are fair questions to be had about Jared Goff.
No, I know, but this isn't the segment for those.
Right. It isn't the segment for those. And the article that I wrote about how Jared Goff can very well be a Super Bowl quarterback, it goes to our points talking about the defense. Like, I trust Jared Goff, which is a far cry from where I was at the end of 2021. Even 2022, the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they were all the way in.
We were talking about Hendon Hooker eventually replacing Jared Goff if they need to. I mean, who knows on the contract side of things, but like we were all kind of like seeing this vision where it's like, yeah, they don't restructure Jared Goff's contract and let him walk.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even a year removed from Dan Campbell, saying you're good enough for Detroit, Jared Goff. Like that really cemented everything. And he is the guy. And to Jeremy's point, right? I think a lot of people crusade against Goff and say everything needs to be perfect. And you're right. Like, we've said those things. And there's even an extent to which I still agree with those things. However, find me a quarterback who doesn't have all the tools around them, all the tools in their tool belt, outside of the extraterrestrial that just keeps on winning Super Bowls, no matter, even if they have a negative turnover differential. Like, the Chiefs are just an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not going to have a Patrick Mahomes.
Quarterbacks need weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jared Goff has weapons.
An O-line.
And when you talk about the average depth of target, cool. Well, guess what? They're going to zig when a lot of the league has zagged. And, we're going to run the football a bunch, and we're going to invest in running backs, and we're going to invest in a tight end. And, yeah, we'll even do things that are kind of the norm, where it's like, yeah, we want a guy who can stretch the field in J-Mo. Like, okay, like, it's not a discredit to Jared Goff that he has had weapons put around him that accentuate to Jeremy's point, can work the middle of the field. He's a very accurate passer. Like, why is it a bad thing that you get the football to the guys who can make plays? I don't know if that's something I can hold against Jared Goff.
It's just
anymore.
it's a legacy of how we talk about quarterbacks, right? Like it's a legacy of like, we need to see a guy who's doing it like hobbled on one leg and he's missing half his starting O line and he's got one diva wide receiver and the others are just bums. Like, but that's not how you build teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Ryan, I think you have the last point here.
Okay. Jameson Williams is going to happen. Jameson Williams is going to happen in a big way. Jameson Williams is going to unlock a part of this offense that neither you or your brothers or your cousins or your sisters or anybody could have seen coming because, yeah, look around, Jeremy. Do you know what that is? It's not cover one anymore. You're not putting an extra guy in the box. You're running cover two because you don't want to let J-Mo get by you. And the moment you want to lighten up the box, oh man, Frank Ragnow's pulling. And Jameson Williams understands no block, no rock. So Jameson Williams, again, I don't think it's going to be like a 1,000-yard season. I know he has high expectations for himself. I know he said he wants to lead, the league in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, right? But I also love that he's like, I don't really care about receptions.
Yeah, because once the ball's in my hand, I know the yards are coming.
Right? Like that. Okay. That is a guy who truly understands what his role is, right? Like big explosive plays. If J-Mo can make big explosive plays, oh my God. What are the Lions going to accomplish on offense? If Jameson Williams happens, and I think that there's just enough like stuff around him. You know what I mean? It's not just like the plays he made in training camp or even some of the plays that he left on the field in training camp. It's the discussion. It's the discourse around Jameson Williams where it's Ray Agnew, chiming in and saying like, we have like a whole different person on our hands. Like Brad Holmes reiterating, this guy just loves football and he fits the culture to a T. I'm telling you guys, the Lion, like this was the best receiver in college football. And it's taken a while, but I think that the Lions they're ready to hear. And it's why, maybe the Josh Reynolds stuff didn't work out, but while we're all wringing our hands over that, you still have a Ferrari in the garage.
Right.
Like, okay, what a bummer.
Yeah.
Like you don't have your Honda Civic that's super reliable.
And I know as many years as we've kind of said, like, well, J-Mo needs to turn it on now. J-Mo needs to turn it on now. It was always still kind of like, okay, but this guy hasn't played a ton of NFL yet. And it's clear as he was going along. It's the attitude, I think, that makes me really believe in J-Mo as well, that he'll figure it out. Because he just seems to be like, he seems to understand the work in front of him, the time it's going to take him and everything. And he just never really got frustrated with a lot of that in those first couple of years where we just weren't seeing him. But now all of that's out of the way. Now all of that's here. And as you say, Ryan, like there's chances for him to get involved in this offense in ways that I think we were doing a little bit of typecasting of what he could do. I think he can do a lot more than that, and he can work out in multiple different roles. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year.
Yeah. Even real quick to circle back to the first segment where it's like, oh, my concern is this is Ben Johnson's third time through the order.
Mm.
Okay, but he also has Jameson Williams now. So like that's another wrinkle to account for.
Yeah, no, I think that's really smart to point out and talk and kind of throw Josh Reynolds into the conversation, because I think when you look at the wide receiving core and you look at the discourse for the Lions wide receiving core, and it's all, oh, they lost. Oh, there's regression. There's
national people are saying that,
yeah,
Jeremy, right?
Yeah, yes,
yeah,
and local too. Like I've probably been a little bit guilty of it myself, but you're so right in pointing out everything that a successful Jameson Williams adds to this offense. It causes another safety to drop deep, which opens up the run game, which opens up the middle of the field. All sorts of positive things. And yes, Chris is also right. Like, let's not just view Jameson Williams as a guy who runs deep routes and forces, too deep coverage. They're going to ask him to do a lot more than that. And he's suddenly a lot more capable at doing a lot more than that if training camp is any indication. But having that deep threat and a little bit more chemistry with Jared Goff has the potential of making this offense absolutely lethal in a way that we haven't seen somehow already. And that should be absolutely terrifying to 31 other teams.
Say it. Say it.
Say it now.
They can be the best offense in the NFL.
No question. No question in my mind.
I don't really know what's preventing them from doing that.
And listen, we could have mentioned wide receiver 3 in the first segment. The fact that they don't have a clear wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver X. But that supposes that the lines are going to go in 11 personnel and 3 wide a lot. I'm not so sure that's going to happen. If they're working as hard as they were in the offseason to get Jahmyr Gibbs in as a receiving role, guess what? Now you can have 2 running backs out there.
They kept Brock Wright.
Yeah, if you paid Brock Wright a heck of a lot of money this offseason, probably going to have 2 tight ends out there pretty often because you're not taking Sam Laporta off the field.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Parker Hesse.
We still have so many predictions to go. I know we're almost at the hour mark, so we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to rapid fire down a lot of the more rote prediction stuff to just, sacks, interceptions, all that stuff, and talk about the season that will to come. It's the cherry on top of this amazing Sunday here on the Pride of Detroit PODcast. I won't lie. I tried to break there because I really have to go pee. So I'll be right back.
Great.
We're kind of there anyways.
Agreed. All right. Let me get to a few alerts.
Can I also go pee as well?
Sure. I'm going to run this whole damn thing myself. We're not doing a 5-hour pod.
Before I do that, though, I just talked about in that last segment, right? The Lions defense. We're talking about top 10 unit. That makes this shirt. Like,
are you gonna rip it?
Oh!
Oh! You literally just shocked me. Chad, I'm gonna need about 10 clips of that. Do you think he wore that shirt specifically? Chad, be honest. 1, did he wear that shirt specifically to make that happen? 2, he cut a little, he ripped it a little first, right? Like, definitely took some scissors and cut down a little bit, right? Pre-rip, 100%. We can say it, and he's not here. All right, let me get to some alerts here. Nick the Greek just dropped a bunch of bits. 100 bits says, if only Gosder Chairless had emptied his entire bladder on Matt Patricia instead of a 78-year-old woman on that flight in Ireland, he'd be a local hero instead of a vilified grandma-defiling villain. Wow. I can't believe I said that all out loud. Thank you for the 100 bits, Nick the Greek. Another 100 bits from Nick the Greek. Sure. Put Kyle Barber on a flight to Ireland with Gosder Chairless, or alternatively, send him to Ukraine. Okay, I shouldn't have read that one out loud. Nick the Greek, another 100 bits. Going on the Gosder Chairless run here, says before Gosder pees on someone, he makes sure they are at least 3 times the age of consent. Well, that's good. You're muted, Chris.
Hey, what did I apparently I missed something. Apparently.
Yeah. Look at Ryan.
I know, he's got a different shirt.
No, he still has the same shirt.
Does that come up? Did you rip that apart? Jesus.
Top 10 defense, baby. There is there is some D in Detroit.
All
right.
Second thing is, speaking of Nick the Greek, I got jumped. Sorry, I'm going to need a second because I got jump scared from a video from a friend about involving trigger warning to anyone who goes to Mina Kimes' Twitter account right now.
Oh no. What now?
Just hold on. Let me find the post. I'll share it with the group Slack.
Ryan, it's time for a bit of honesty.
Yeah.
Did you pre-rip it?
No, God, this is you can't see it, but like this is like Meyer quality. Come on. And you're
You
also
can tell
talking
us.
you're
You can tell us.
you're talking to someone. You're talking to someone who grew up watching wrestling. You don't think I've torn a couple shirts in my life? Okay? I know the angle. I know it
Sure,
all.
but usually you have a couple Presidentes in you. By the way, the reveal of the Sam Laporta drawing shirt underneath it is an
that
extra
good?
layer to that.
Cool, good. I wish it was like some sort of defensive player, but like it's still
Yeah.
like to have this pop out and be a sign of and a vote of confidence is a wild thing.
So, was the plan to rip that the entire time? Is
Yeah.
that the reason? Okay.
I thought I wanted to do it during the podcast, but I was like, they're listening. This isn't like a viewing thing, so I'm just gonna wait for the I'll wait for the break.
I think you should have done it. We would have verbalized what happened, but that's okay. It was still worth it. But Chad, it's now on you to not only clip that, but I better see it in our Discord under the podcast section.
Hell yeah.
Oh God. Oh God. I just watched the clip, Chris. Oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
I almost didn't
legitimate jump
recognize.
scare.
I almost didn't recognize
That is true. It took me a couple
Nick-
viewings to realize what was going on.
Nick the Greek would not recognize that man.
Oh my god.
Do I need to see this? Do I need to show it
Yes.
on stream? I
I
feel like
trigger
I
warning to
already
everyone
know,
on stream.
Okay, so if you're bringing up Nick the Greek, I'm pretty sure I already know what's happening here.
Yeah.
One of the hardest teams.
Hold on. All right. This is from Underdog. It's a clip from Underdog Fantasy with
Yes, with Bill Belichick, episode 1 of Coach.
I don't know what
It's a
that is.
preview of this Bill Belichick show.
Hold on. I know I'm in the wrong scene, everybody. Give me a second. We're going to lose.
The Jets are one of the hardest teams to prepare for from a skill standpoint because of Brees Hall, outstanding running back that has the ability to.
I'm just going to stop it right there.
Yeah.
What is he doing? What?
Take the ball the distance. He's very good in the passing game.
Once
And
again,
defensively,
getting
you
a
wanna do
job
everything
thanks
you
to his
can.
old friend
Problem
Bill.
is, if you load the box, Hall.
He's just involved.
So
Yeah.
he not
Do we want to see him talk or no?
He's apparently hosting
in
the
one-on-one
damn thing,
coverage,
which
and
I
then his run
do
after
not
catch
understand,
is
but okay.
exceptional.
you leave that box too light, and Hall with his speed and
Where's
athleticism,
the part where
he's
he's
gone.
going
that
to
things going to turn into an explosive play. So
call out
I
and
think, like you
question
mentioned,
people's
those pieces,
sexuality?
it could be a major problem trying to defend this offense.
Yeah, and Aaron knows how to use them. And
Is he
Aaron
allowed
also
to curse?
Those eyes have sunken. Those eyes have sunken from the evil he's seen and committed.
Enough.
Yeah,
I don't wanna see
get
anymore.
rid of this shit. Get rid of this shit. I will give to Ryan though. It does look like he's at least like good on him. He looks like he's at least lost a little weight. Is he on the four-wheeler? No, he is not. We blew up that four-wheeler.
Yeah, why is it to J-Dub's point, why isn't he still doing the pencil gimmick?
I'm going to veer away from all the potential jokes here. Good for him.
You know where the pencil is? Big Dom shoved up his.
No, righty. Get through all the
JT Sam
alerts, Jeremy.
JT Sam did drop 10 bits, and I'm assuming the clip of Ryan ripping his shirt open. Is that a fair assumption, JT Sam? I'll just watch it real quick.
I think so. Can I also go pee as well?
Sure. I'm going to run this whole damn thing myself. Yeah. We're not doing a
But-
5-hour pod. All right.
Before I do that,
Thank
though,
you,
I
JT
just
Sam.
talked
We don't need to watch it right now. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're through alerts.
Yeah,
We've
now you got
gotten
to get over
through
the spook.
that trauma. Let's talk about something else. What else can we talk about? McVay Rob says, I still can't believe that people are acting like Rodgers is going to be good at all.
Is
It
Rodgers
is-
going to be good?
I hate to say this, but there is a. Again, I know this because I'm working over there, but There is a Colin Cowherd promo right now where it's like, you realize last time we've talked about Aaron Rodgers being good was 3 years ago. A lot changes in 3 years in the NFL.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, but I feel like we've already attempted to bury Aaron Rodgers' career once and it didn't work.
That doesn't mean we can't try again.
You can try as many times as you want.
I know. At some point, Brett Favre also puts on the Vikings jersey. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I hope it doesn't work out with the Jets because I don't particularly like their franchise, and I certainly don't like their quarterback. But I think it's reasonable to believe that they put it together this year a little bit. Not enough to win the Super Bowl because that conference is a gauntlet, but I think they could be good this year. Sue me.
Are you concerned at all about the Hassan Reddick stuff or no?
What's Hanson Reddick stuff?
He's like not playing, not reporting. Wants a contract. They traded for him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Sucks, but they had a pretty damn good defense without him.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's more that I'm knocking the Jets on their vibes because they spent a lot of time bitching about preseason.
And they won all their preseason games.
Yeah.
Ooh, kiss of death. They're done. Them and the Bears, done.
What do you think is going to be the lowest win total? Like, I keep waiting for another team to get close to going 0-17. What's the lowest win? You don't even need to put a team to it if you don't want. What do you think is going to be the lowest win total of a team in the NFL this year?
I don't know. Is there like an obviously god awful team?
Giants.
Patriots are pretty low. I don't think the Giants are a god awful team.
No, they're god awful.
No.
Do you know who they're starting running? You don't even know who their starting running back is.
I don't know the starting running back of like 20 teams.
It's Devin Singletary. Let's Saquon Barkley.
Oh no, the least important position on the team.
So you're comfortable with Daniel Jones airing it out 40 times a game?
Yeah. You see their receiving core?
He's Daniel Jones.
Their offensive line is better.
You could give them 5 clones of Megatron in his prime. He's not fucking hitting any of them.
Give him a shot.
Vanilla Vic.
I think I've given Daniel Jones more than enough shots. That's why I bought a Tommy DeVito jersey.
What? Hold on. Someone just sent me a screenshot of Jahmyr Gibbs' Instagram that has Dan Campbell in an Applebee's uniform.
What?
Oh, okay. So there is straight video of this.
Oh my god. Was he at an Applebee's or
Was he working the to-go door?
oh my god.
The caption says, "Did I just see Dan Campbell working at Applebee's?" That's not like a lookalike. That is him.
That is DC.
Is he running a commercial? What's happening?
Well, as journalists, we will get back to you on that.
So what's like the hook of Dan Campbell being in Applebee's? Like what's the
He's just a humble country guy. He likes good, fair food down in the neighborhood.
What was the smash cut? Was it like CNN? I forgot what very serious thing was happening, but then it like smash cut to like the Applebee's commercial.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably something
was
like
that,
9/11 or something.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. I mean,
Russia invades Ukraine, sponsored by Applebee's.
Yeah, there it is. But what's Dan Campbell's best role at an Applebee's?
Best role?
Yeah, where's he making the biggest difference?
I did not realize Applebee's was a role playing game.
Everything. If anybody understands that, Chris, it's
It's an
Dan.
RPG. Yeah.
He's the bartender because he's giving everyone an extra like 3 ounces of alcohol in every drink.
Oh no, that's not safe.
Oh God, you know what? Dan, I hate to do this, but Dan absolutely would have been the bartender I met one time, who instead of giving me a whiskey sour, gave me like a double of Jack with like a squirt of lemon juice.
I feel like there's a role for Dan just like running food. You know what I mean? Like he's the manager that's also running food because he's like, look, I can be super efficient.
Yeah,
I'll,
like you're
I'll
when,
get
when,
everybody
like,
to where they need to be, and I'll run food. I'll
you
do
get the
extra.
hint. You get a hint that a table is dissatisfied, and suddenly the manager's the one bringing out your food. Yeah.
Dan's over there taking care of everything. He's also holding you accountable though too. He's like, guys, I tried that. I tried those fries. I took them back. I tried them. They're not cold. They're warm. What's the real problem? Can we have an honest conversation about what's going
Jack
on?
Fire, bro, you gotta try it. Old Wolf, I am going to be 38 in about 19 days, and I've lived my entire life in the United States. You think I haven't had Jack Daniels?
Thomas J. Hutchins has a good answer too. He's expo between back and front of the house, keeping the back and the front from killing one another.
Oh man.
The Dan Campbell Applebee's classic combo: kneecaps and ass cheeks.
It's part of like a
It's
three-course
like
meal.
it's like a Halloween menu item.
It's like the
Remember
you pick
when
two
we
kneecap and ass cheeks for $9.99.
remember what was the last time we did this at much Applebee's? Was it like the shot? What was the it was like Top Gun Maverick, but what exactly was Applebee's doing?
Oh,
Was the free tickets to Top Gun Maverick, I
Something
think,
like
was
that.
the promotion we found?
Something like that. I think with that you pick two though. I think the
Yeah.
drink that you have to have is the Dark Abyss.
All right,
Oh, God.
Woodchuck
Okay, we got
Hunter
list
list cast of the top 5 Lions players and their role at Applebee's as team members. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has to be
At the hostess stand.
either at the hostess stand or just like the waiter who is delivering meals, or maybe bus,
Okay.
maybe busser, just like weaving through the traffic.
I feel like that's Sione Vaki.
Is that Sione Vaki?
Yeah, he's bussing tables.
I think he's got a very charming personality, like a very good. Like I could see him as a host, honestly.
Could you see him providing live music for an Applebee's?
Maybe. Maybe.
Those singing chops.
Is there an Applebee's that has a stage for live music anywhere?
He's the jukebox.
You just got to look hard enough. What if he hosts trivia? He could be the MC.
He could be the MC for trivia.
What about Graham? What's Graham doing? Is Graham a line cook?
Graham seems like a line cook. Like I think in general they kind of have good senses of humor back there, and
Not
Just-
afraid
it
to
just
get their
does
hands
work.
dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, I can dig that. Who do you want meeting people at the front? I think you need a mixture
You're
of.
asking the most charming, right?
I think it's a mixture of good looks and charm. You want both right there up front. Bring the people in. Malcolm? I think maybe it's Malcolm.
It might be Malcolm, yeah. He's not too big and imposing either. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Laporta's a pretty good one too.
No, Laporta should be bussing too because he's just the golden retriever.
I think
No, he shows up at your table and boxes your food for you and puts it in doggy bags. That's what Sam Laporta does.
Wait,
for
you know who Graham is? I don't even know if they do this at any restaurants anymore. He's the magician that walks around the tables.
Where were
He's
they
the guy.
doing
No.
that?
He
That
serves. He's if they find out it's someone's birthday. and they
Oh.
order the lava cake.
He's the one who comes out like banging the drum or
Yeah. Or like with lighting the cake or whatever. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
People know.
Do they-
I'm not making this up, right? Like there were certain sit-down restaurants that would just like occasionally have
I don't know what
a
restaurants
magician
you were going
or
to.
like
I
a guy
don't.
who blows up balloon animal guy. I'm not
that's,
making this
that's
up.
that's Graham's role.
That's Graham's role. Alex Anzalone is 100% in the kitchen with his hair in a hairnet.
Yeah.
I will take it. No.
He's prep. He's prep and he's when he gets off the shift and he just pulls that hairnet off, man.
Do you have Aiden? Do you have Hutchinson and Rodrigo up front?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Where is St. Brown in all this though?
Ooh.
Working at a Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that analogy is supposed to be in my head. I don't.
I think St. Brown has to just be waiting tables, and he knows all of the wait staff ahead of him that has collected more tips. He can list them all off. He can list all their names, and he's coming for that title
Oh my God.
at the end of the quarter.
Okay, restaurant magicians is very clearly a thing just by
What?
Google.
Did you
searching.
Google it? Okay.
Yeah,
Like
All right,
nature
yeah.
magics or something.
I did not make this up.
Sure, Jeremy.
Who is the manager though? We talked about Dan Campbell, but which player is running the show?
Taylor Decker.
Frank.
Frank's a good one too.
Co-managers?
Go managers.
I felt like Frank
I-
might be in
hold
charge
on.
of like food quality control.
Actually,
JC coming through in the clutch. I used to work at an Applebee's and they had a magician and a balloon guy.
better manager idea. And it fits. Sheila.
Okay.
Doesn't she look at it? She looks at it. She looks at it.
I think you can also there's business synergy, right? Like spend so much money at Applebee's, get a free set of tires. Like I think there's
can't say
business
I
opportunities.
genuinely
What's Rod
cannot-
Wood doing? What's Rod Wood doing at the Applebee's?
He's just in the back, like making
Taking-
sure everyone's clocked in and stuff.
Taking people's tip money away from them. since they're going back
Wow.
since they're going back to college early. And they can't be on the schedule.
No. He's franchising is what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, no, perfect. Yeah. He works for Applebee's corporate.
That's right.
Oh.
All right. I think we didn't really make a list cast out of that, but I think we more than
No, I
honored
think
the
we covered
reward.
it. I think we covered it.
That was almost more rewarding than on the Q&A show when we were we were equating players to being different household appliances or parts of a house.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a ridiculous conversation. Austin Mammoth requested a background change. I've been having trouble doing that, but if you want to request something for next show, midweek mailbag tomorrow, I can try to have it set up for tomorrow's show. If you're still in here, Austin. Jill asked, would Chris eat at Olive Garden again if Dan Campbell was a waiter there?
Not the taste of Italy, but you can probably get me to load up on some like salad and breadsticks or something.
I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry.
Austin, what do you
Speaking of
want?
That I do have a chicken Caesar salad in the fridge too. So just
Whenever I'm hungry, you know what I grab?
What was that?
A good old bag of Righteous Felon craft jerky.
Oh, there it
We
is.
already did the read.
Exclamation point jerky in either of the chats. 20% off. Do we have nothing to talk about?
I'm sorry. I'm just bored of this Florida State game already. So
Third second is Florida State winning.
no, it's scoreless.
Has anyone tried the what? The foul Capone, which, by the way, is empty, but I've been keeping it at my desk because, honestly, the smells of it is incredible.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
just been
Yeah, it's
keeping the
great
bag
smells.
just to smell it occasionally. Is that weird?
No.
Yes.
It's basil, though. Like, just the smell of basil is so good. Oh,
Why
God,
did you
it's
eat
so
at
good.
Olive Garden to start with? So this is some PODcast lore going back to the last couple of years, in that I, a proud Italian American, was forced to eat at Applebee's to pay off a Movember.
Olive Garden,
What did I say?
Applebee's.
Applebee's.
It's on the
Oh,
brain.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I had to eat at an Olive Garden because of we raised enough money to get me to go to an Olive Garden and record the entire thing. And I got food poisoning the next day from their Taste of Italy. So
Quirky Zerky, what do you want? Oh, top 5 favorite non-playoff wins of the last 3 years. Okay, that's a reasonable one.
memory.
Austin,
Top
what
3 wins, non-playoff.
non-playoff wins? Austin, what? I still haven't seen your actual request for the change of background, so send that to me. You can whisper it to me if you want. People don't whisper on Twitch, but you
Out of
can.
the last 3 years,
Man, dude, there's a lot to choose from.
well, I know what's number one with a bullet for me. It's Packers Lions end of 2022 season.
Yeah, that's probably number 1. I would imagine on most people's list.
I don't know if it's number 1.
See, are you going to cheat and like get the win that like clinches the playoffs or clinches the division?
Why is that cheating?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's all.
Are you going to pick the first win in the Dan Campbell era?
No.
Kansas City.
We talked about it for like months.
We did.
Schedule came out, and it was like, oh, litmus test, and it was like, as long as the Lions can just hang in there. Brian Branch's pick 6 and my pants are off. The Lions win that football game. That was, I mean, come on, guys. We had an emergency podcast that night.
It was a fun night.
Yeah, it was a very
Like
fun night.
that-
It wasn't
that
as fun
was-
as the Packers game, but it was a fun night.
It was
And
ultimately
we had Mina
it was-
Kimes. We had Mina Kimes show up after the Packers game.
It was ultimately all for naught, though. Like, it was
I
cool,
know.
but football was
I know.
done for us.
Yeah.
Super cool moment. Loved it. Great. Jamal Williams post-game speech. Incredible. Fantastic. I don't think it's my number 1, though. I think it's either that game or, dude, Thursday Night Football against the Packers in 2023 was
It was great.
The beatdown.
Amon Ra doing the Lambeau Leap and getting beer poured on him.
Yep.
Just David Montgomery getting shoved down their throat when earlier that morning, remember? Oh, Taylor Decker is not playing. No, Taylor Decker is playing. You know what I mean?
God.
Like
I forgot about that.
the old okey doke. I mean, David Montgomery was question. I mean, come on, man. That was awesome. Yeah.
I might throw as an honorable. I like that list. I think I might throw as an honorable mention in there the Chargers game, not just because Jeremy and I were punching each other in the arm, but do you remember what Goff said afterwards about him calling out of a particular play?
Oh, they had the wrong. I think it was
Yeah.
for the David
wrong
Montgomery
personnel.
run.
Yeah.
They had the wrong personnel out there, and so they had to just roll with it.
I think that was like a real come to Jesus moment for me. It was like, this guy is really fucking smart.
That was a great game. I remember holding Teddy in front of the television during the kick.
Beating Chicago. I mean, it kind of got bittersweet with the downfall of Chicago the next time we met him, but like that, it was fun to put Chicago back in their place.
I really loved the Jets game from 2022. The Brock Wright play. I mean,
I think the Minnesota game from 2022 with that ended in the Sewell catch, because remember that was a red hot Minnesota team, and it was like, are the Lions for real in this turnaround? The Vikings are like what 12-3, and the Lions were somehow favorites in that game. Remember?
J-Mo, first touchdown.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one too. I still think my top three.
No, that was Minnesota. That was that game.
Yeah, that was a
Oh, okay. I thought you said that one too, as in like that game too.
nah. Packers 2022 to end the season, clinching Minnesota game. And then my number 3. You know
You're
what?
not putting the Chiefs game in there?
It's either the Chiefs game or I'm gonna throw a weird one that we haven't even talked about. Denver last year, pulling out of like that funk and just absolutely destroying the Denver
Smacking
Broncos on was it Monday night game, Thursday night game, whatever it was. That one felt really good.
Was it a Saturday night game?
Oh, it
was
was
a Saturday game.
Yes,
It was a Saturday game,
Monday
yeah.
Night Football on Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, I know I had work off the next day.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Oh, excuse me.
You know, it'd be number 1 on my list of least favorite regular season games.
Patriots.
Carolina.
Carolina was like just like the biggest like. Hey, remember that little stretch with the Vikings game and the Jets game we just talked about? Oh, the playoffs might happen. Deonta Foreman.
Fucking.
Why did you give us that list cast? No one requested that. There's a Ruby.
Cast, I'm just saying one.
There's a Ruby request.
Oh my god. Ruby.
My old lady's listening in the background. Is the break almost over?
Yeah,
Never.
It can be almost over. Let's do the third segment.
It's not over until Austin Mammoth actually gives me a request.
Let me get Ruby first. Let me get Ruby first.
Austin Mammoth, where'd you go? Did you whisper me?
I owe you a treat stream too.
I wish Brandon Joseph would have stuck with number 40. I like that number.
12 is horrible. Is it 12?
Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12's not great.
12 is bad.
As far as like a safety number goes.
Yeah. It's weird.
12 is such a quarterback number.
Yeah. I don't predict who got 24 too. I didn't like their number change either. It's a defensive back. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, it was wasn't it Strickland?
It is, yeah. I don't like that for him either.
Jake Bates went to 39.
That's fine. I don't care.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't jump.
43 was a weird look.
Give you another treat. Hello, everyone. This is Ruby. For those who haven't seen him before,
Can I get some rubies in the chat? For those of you on Twitch with the ruby emote.
get that crunch as he's eating his treats.
Crunch.
For the people who fed him the treats in the pre-show chat. Hi, Rube. Rube's getting old. Rube's getting slow. Rube's never liked being held.
Ooh,
Rube's is not really doing well in all this heat either, so. Poor guy.
Promo code doesn't work with Prime Checkout in Righteous Felon. What does that mean? What's a Prime Checkout? I don't even know what that means. Oh, are you buying it on Amazon Prime? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I think you probably would have to buy it through their
You have
website.
to buy it from the website, right? Yeah.
Nick the Greek, 100-bit says, can someone please remind Chris to follow up with his primary care doctor to request a colonoscopy and a sleep study?
I had a colonoscopy the morning of the Lions-Packers game.
Which one?
The Thursday night game at the beginning of 2023. Colon health. It's important.
Sure.
I don't think I've never had a colonoscopy.
Me neither, but it's getting close to that time, Chris.
No, I know.
We're supposed to.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Yeah, guys, I'm behind you. Come on.
I know.
Why'd you get one? Did you need it?
Well, I think the difference here is like I have to buy my own health insurance.
Fair.
Predictions?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's prediction time. Everybody loves season predictions. All right, cowboy hat going off again.
If you feel to have on your shoulders, crispy, I'm not sure what that means. All right. Sorry, I've been working so much the past few weeks.
Yes, Caleb, we're still live. Jill, really quick. I think we've decided that we're going to cash in our Movember rewards during Movember. So we're going to have a couple extra special streams where we are doing a Hot Ones. We're doing a stream in Benito Jones overalls. I'm going to jump into a cold plunge.
I have the cooking stream, I think.
Yep.
Did we hit that one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to eat a bowl full of jelly beans like cereal. Yeah, that's all coming.
Not just jelly beans.
Some good ones, some bad.
All right. Pride to Detroit POD cast round 3 of our predictions, and this time we just need to go rapid fire down the list here. Oh, maybe not too much, but still, like, we've been going live for quite a while here, so I'm just going to go down through different categories. Ryan and Jeremy can give predictions on all of these things on who's going to lead the team in what. Let's start with the defense, and let's start with who is going to be the most sack of the defensive players. Who's going to have the most sacks?
I'm gonna go chalk here and say Aiden Hutchinson, but I will say I think he has a chance to hit 15 plus this year. I really do.
Ooh.
If you're capable of producing 100 pressures like you did last year, and is getting a better supporting cast who will make those pressures, turn those pressures into sacks by not giving quarterbacks an out on the other side of the line or through the middle of the line. It's going to funnel guys to Aiden Hutchinson. I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to run away with it. But I am going to say this, Ryan. You already know this already. I got a little sack tease in our Pride of Detroit Direct newsletter coming this week. Very soon, in fact. I could have phrased that better, but
Yeah.
So you really could have.
there you will not see anything profane in the next Pride of Detroit newsletter. Let me be clear. But there is an extra prediction involving sacks.
It's
Okay.
the DJ Reader effect, right? Look at what Trey Hendrickson did after DJ Reader showed up in Cincinnati.
That's right.
That's right.
Chris,
Ryan.
do you have no,
Oh.
Chris, I'm asking you.
Are
you going chalk here?
I guess I am. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go chalk. I'll have to go Aiden Hutchinson as well. I don't have any reason to believe that we keep waiting for this breakout year for Aiden Hutchinson. I think it keeps coming back to is like, is he going to? He seems to be the guy who always goes after and gets the pressures, and now I feel like with Marcus Davenport, maybe he's got a chance to finally be the one to actually like have some help from the other side, and then he can clean up and well, not clean up, but what's the right word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like, he seems that he's been really chasing guys around back there, but I think with the help he's going to get, he's finally going to get home on a few of them. Because the problem has been like Aiden Hutchinson starting to get some, not a lot of double teams, but he's starting to get a few. And it would be nice to see them have to worry about Marcus Davenport, and hopefully Hutchinson then just takes advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm not upset with the chalk answer. I think almost like a more interesting question would be who's going to be second. Because I think it's like, do you want to go Marcus Davenport? Do you want to go Liam McNeil? Do you want to get extra frisky and say, I don't know, James Houston?
Let's not forget about him.
I don't know. But yeah, it's chalk. It's Aiden Hutchinson across the board.
Yeah. All right. From that chalk let's go to interceptions. Always a very interesting category to try to figure out.
It's a tough one to predict, right? Sometimes it comes in bunches. Sometimes you go through droughts. But the one player who hasn't gone through droughts in the first 2 years of his career and won't in year 3 either is Kirby Joseph.
Oh, look at the turnaround for Jeremy Reisman from when Kirby Joseph was drafted to where we are now.
It's true. I was a skeptic. And listen, he didn't have his best year last year, but at the same time, I believe he's had 4 interceptions in both of his seasons. That's pretty good. That's usually enough to lead a team with.
The last person to catch a pass from Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. Unfortunately, the Lions don't play the Jets this year, but we'll make an exception for Jordan
Maybe they will
Love.
in February.
He'll be Jordan Love's daddy this year. No, I mean, listen, he's got such a natural hankering for the ball. He's got such good ball skills. And even though Brian Branch is going to be back there too, probably taking some of those opportunities away, Brian Branch is also still going to probably predominantly play towards the line of scrimmage. So that ball is getting funneled to Kirby Joseph. He leads the team again this year.
Okay. Can I go, Brian?
Yeah, I'll go.
No, I said I
Oh,
wanna,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a rookie.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go with Terry and Arnold. Man had, 5 interceptions last year at Alabama? I think he can pick up at least 4 or so. I think it'll get diffused, spread around, but I do think Terry and Arnold, hungry, eager to show that right out of the gate, Lions to put the trust in him. And look, on that right corner, he can do the damage. He can do a lot of damage.
If he gets 4 interceptions, we're talking rookie defensive rookie of the year territory there.
That would be mighty impressive. I was going to pick Terry and Arnold. I'm glad that you jumped up and sniped it. Just from also the standpoint of maybe NFL teams are more willing to, hey, let's go test out the rookie. Let's see what he can do. And that's what interceptions are really about, right? It's like opportunities of ball getting thrown your way. Sometimes, right, the best cornerbacks are the ones who don't have great interception numbers because they're Darrelle Revis and you're not throwing the ball their way or, I'm going to go with Meek Robertson because I love how spunky he is. And he probably hates to be called names like that.
Spunky.
But there's something about him that feels like he's just going to be around the ball a lot. Whether or not it's going to be, he might even be a guy that leads the team in forced fumbles. That wouldn't surprise me either. This guy could lead the team in interceptions. Maybe he could lead the team in forced fumbles, but I'll go with Meek Robertson as my dark horse candidate to lead in interceptions.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Receiving yards.
I'd love for this one to be a contest.
It's the same answer for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra,
Sun God.
He's the centerpiece of the passing offense. And as much as Laporta has a chance to maybe cross over 1,000 yards this year, and I know we're all excited to see what J-Mo can do, but I'm probably topping him off around 800, maybe 900 yards if everything kind of falls in line. None of it is going to touch what Amon-Ra does.
It's just volume. It's yak. It's so much. It's to Amon-Ra's game. I know it's boring to say it, but it's also true to say it.
Yeah. It's how about a more interesting question that's off the beaten path? How about who leads the Lions in yards from scrimmage?
Gibbs.
Yeah.
He probably was close to being that leader last year. He may have been the leader last year. Mm-hmm. He had almost 1,000 yards rushing, and then what do you have, 200 to 300 receiving? I think you're going to see
that would still put Amon-Ra ahead of him, though. He had over 1,500 yards receiving on its own. That's
still crazy. But I'm expecting at least 1,500 all-purpose yards from Gibbs this year.
I think it could be Gibbs too. Yeah.
I want it to be J-Mo so bad.
J-Mo, the running wide receiver?
Yes. Just fully lean into the Debo thing. Brad Holmes wanted to get Debo. He tried to trade for him, and you know what he did instead of getting Debo? He drafted Jameson Williams.
Over under 11 rushes for him in the regular season.
Over. I'm
I
sorry.
abstain.
I'm sorry, Khalif Raymond. I'm sorry.
All right.
Wow. All right, receiving touchdowns.
Sam Laporta. Did I just steal yours?
I keep on getting sniped.
You can say it too. It's fine. Listen, like,
I'm not going to Jamie Taco you.
I think I just Jamie Taco'd you. I said it before you got in.
Shit.
No, it's. I mean, the Lions don't have a lot of big body options once they get down in the red zone. And granted, when they get into the red zone, the priority is going to be run the ball, and you know they're probably going to be at least 15 to 20 rushing touchdowns this year. But when they don't, Sam Laporta has proven to be a pretty darn good threat already. I don't know how many he had in his rookie season, but it was quite a bit, and I kind of expect him to get pretty close to double digits this year.
You know what helps when when you're thinking down there and you got to go pretty run heavy, but there is a man who can also catch that pass, might catch that ball, and that technically counts as a receiving touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs.
That'd be a lot of receiving touchdowns for him, but I'm not cutting it out.
I should probably have saved that for a later category.
Yeah, Laporte had 10 last year, so.
Yeah. Woo. Rushing yard. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Did you have a different one for receiving touchdowns?
JMO.
I thought you were going to go spicy and do like Tim Patrick.
Hey man, no, listen, I like that answer because it means that like the Lions won't have to seek as many touchdowns from the red zone, which is something I would probably enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna call I'll say Jameson Williams 12.
Ooh,
You're really breaking out the JMO.
that would get you a spicy payout in the adjusted line.
Whoa, easy. What are we doing? Talking about gambling? Come on.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's
come
someone
on.
else. That's a different guy.
New sponsor of SB Nation.
Cool. Who are we gonna get in bed with next?
Rushing yards.
David Montgomery. I'm Jamie tacoing all of you, but I'm saying David Montgomery.
Yeah? Do you believe that, or are you just trying to be different?
No, I really do believe that.
Okay.
Like I've been thumping that drum all off season long. Like, don't forget about David Montgomery. Don't forget about David Montgomery. Is that my steady as a mouse?
Maybe. I've never thumped a drum.
More pounding the drum, right?
Yeah. Listen, I think it's at least a point worth underscoring, right? That we're all just kind of assuming Gibbs is going to become the RB1, but Dave Montgomery is.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about first and second down, I think in general Dave Montgomery is going to get more of those carries.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a more physical back. They like him a lot, and it's going to frustrate the hell out of dumb fantasy people again this year. But like just. It's still good a 1A, 1B situation. I don't think there's going to be this wild imbalance towards Jahmyr Gibbs this year that maybe some people are thinking. I'm still taking Jahmyr Gibbs overall yardage more just because he's more capable of the explosive play and in general.
Well, hold on for that because we got one of those coming up.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. I'll hold on.
No, it's David Montgomery. I think that's right.
Wow, love that. Hey, I think everybody just wants 22 personnel. Give us all the 22 personnel.
Total touchdowns.
Total touchdowns.
Jared Goff. No, that's cheating.
That's not how that works.
I still think it's Laporta.
Ooh. I'm going David Montgomery.
I'm going Gibbs.
Goal line merchant,
yeah,
David Montgomery.
I kind of want to change it to Montgomery immediately.
Oh man. All right, best year 2 season.
This is a fun one, in my opinion, because there were so many good rookies last year. But now I think Jack Campbell's potentially worked his way into this conversation.
I didn't know if this counted as just second-year players.
Who?
Too.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, no, not just rookies, but like players who have now been with the Lions for this is their second year. Like
I see what you're
Graham.
doing.
No, that doesn't count. Nah, just give me the 2023 draft class.
I think if we're going all this way, it's going to be Laporta, right? Can Branch do better than his rookie year?
I'm on.
We're talking about Gibbs all the time. Why
yeah.
is Gibbs the answer?
I'm on record as Gibbs being the offensive player of the year for this team. Gibbs is my pick because I think just in terms of all-purpose yardage, and he won't be that far behind on overall touchdowns. I think it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, Mr. I hate first-round running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, best second-year player this year.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go Hendon Hooker.
How dare you?
Oh man.
He's gonna hold that clipboard so well.
Most important player not enough people are talking about.
The John Kaminsky Award?
The honorary John Kaminsky Award.
Mm.
I'm going to say Alex Anzalone.
He's a team captain.
He's a team captain,
What
but
do you mean people aren't talking about him?
that just means people like him as a leader. I think people are looking at that linebacking core and they're like, ooh, what can Derek Barnes do at the Sam? Ooh, what can Jack Campbell do?
Okay. Yeah, he's getting lost in the shuffle. I
He's
get
getting
it.
a little bit lost in the shuffle, and I think he's had 2 really, really good seasons, and I think he could have potentially his best this year. I mean, I talked to him in the offseason. He talked about how honored he was to be considered a Pro Bowl alternate last year. I think he has a real shot at being a Pro Bowler this year, and we talked to him again today. He's like, yeah, my goal this year is like, last year was the first year in a long time I didn't have any turnovers. I'm going to get some turnovers this year. If he does that and continues to be just very steady in terms of his assignment, which he always is, I think he's going to be a key to this defense being as good as we all expect it to be.
Oh, it's me. Okay. Talk about someone that we probably we kind of lost him in the shuffle here. And you know how much like talking about O-line. Kevin Zeitler. He's out there practicing blocking while his wife's in labor.
Yeah.
Like man's just going nuts. He's ready. I think he looks like the kind of guy who'll just battle through kind of everything just to get out there.
Somebody
open
that
this up.
no Lions fans have seen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I do think that, like, look, we're talking about the offensive line. We're talking about, you worry about what the middle of it, replacing Jonah Jackson. Zeitler, I don't think we're talking a lot about Zeitler about the pickup. So we'll see. It's a 1-year deal, but hey, man, O-line is the heart of the team.
Yeah, most important player. Picking an offensive lineman is not a bad choice to make.
I don't think that we're talking about him enough, so this answer applies. It's DJ Reader.
Mm.
Nobody's talking about DJ Reader enough.
That was like my other right answer there. Yeah.
All things will be possible through DJ Reader. Like the Lions' run defense, I have no worries about it if DJ Reader is one. Not only do I not have worries about it, I think that it is the top unit in football with DJ Reader added in terms of stopping the run. I think that it's so understated. And I hate talking about it and even saying that it's understated, but like, I think the effect that he'll have on the rest of the ability of the defensive front to get to the quarterback and to make impactful plays, him and Aleem in the middle is just like, my goodness. Like, and maybe he might not be out there a ton on third down, but I think on first and second down, if teams want to throw the football, like you're running a risk. And was it the conversation with Taylor Decker, right? He was talking about how Marcus Davenport has one of the best bull rushes that he's ever faced. I mean, if Taylor Decker's saying that about that guy, you have DJ Reader, who like you need to make a decision. Are you going to go one-on-one with Marcus Davenport? And if you're going to go one-on-one with Marcus Davenport, you're going to be seeing a whole lot of, tackles that are going to be getting sacks on their own quarterbacks. And it's going to be made possible through DJ Reader getting a lot of attention.
All right, guys.
I'm going to disqualify Ryan for picking the Lions' biggest
What?
free agent pickup as the guy no one's talking about. And I'm also going to pull myself out and say Chat had the best answer, which is actually Carlton Davis. I think that's a great answer.
And I'm going to disqualify you for invoking chat.
I'm going to
Fine.
disqualify everybody in a minute.
Well, let's go ahead and just disqualify all of us right now with this. Come on, rip off the Band-Aid. Record. What's the Lions' record?
11-6.
Jeremy.
I've been at 11-6 since the schedule came out. I'm not going to move, and people are going to be like, they were 12-9 last year. It's fine. Their schedule's a little bit harder. They're going to be just as good, if not better. And the 11-6 Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. 11-6 is fine.
You're all weak babies. 16-1.
If they go 16-1, this is cashing. I'm just saying that.
I know.
That's cashing.
I'm half serious, half needing to stand by the insane psycho prediction I gave on Fox Sports Radio the other day. But whatever.
Either that's cashing, or my prediction of Hendon Hooker having the biggest second year jump is true. So
you're covered. You're covered either way.
Yeah,
financially or prediction wise.
Got to hedge all the time.
Always hedge your bets. How far will they go?
Ladies and gentlemen, Detroit Lions are making it to the Super Bowl. I am not convinced by any other NFC team. The 49ers could very well take a step back this year. They don't currently have their left tackle.
These are crisp points I brought up in the break. I just want to say that.
The Packers have a lot of questions defensively. I think people are just assuming because they changed defensive coordinators, it's going to figure everything out. And they're just also assuming that because they have a bunch of these young wide receivers, they're going to be good. Not convinced of the Packers.
You're only going to get the best of Jordan Love, right? Like everybody's like, oh, the second half of Jordan Love is just who he is.
Yes.
It's like, no, hold on.
The only one to really fear is the Dallas Cowboys, and that's not even because of anything the Dallas Cowboys do. It's just because the NFL gives them wins.
You want to talk about a team that just stayed put and didn't improve at all. It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I know. But like as I'm saying, it doesn't matter about their roster. Like the NFL will find ways to give them wins.
Man. Are we scared of the Atlanta Falcons?
Nope.
No. I'm never scared of Kirk Cousins.
Are we scared of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Nope.
Not once Big Dom takes over that place and turns it into the football outer heaven.
Do you know the team I'm most worried about in the NFC, Jeremy?
No.
Rams?
It's the team the Lions are playing in week 1.
Yeah, they don't
NFC
have a left tackle in week 1.
Also, is Jonah Jackson really going to play center? Is that really what they're going to do?
Question marks to Jeremy's overall point about any other team in the NFC, right?
And I'm not saying the Lions don't have question marks, but I think we ran through the second segment of why the Lions are kind of in a really good spot beyond some of the question marks that we brought up in the first segment. It really feels like nitpicking when you talk about the Lions and their weak points, whereas like there's no proof of concept with the Packers defense. There's no proof in a lot of teams in the NFC. I just really, to me, the 49ers are still the one you have to knock off the most, but I think the Lions got better this offseason, and I think the 49ers got worse. And the Lions very, very nearly took the 49ers down in Santa Clara. This year it's going to be in Detroit, and they're going to take them down.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Eric Armstead, no longer a member of the San Francisco 49ers. You can't just keep on losing defensive talent like that. I don't know. Yeah, there's question marks, but to your point that you made about the Cowboys, like, ask yourself the question, and I know we're kind of like myopic in the sense that we're covering the Lions, right? But like, you can ask yourself, well, how did the Lions improve? What did they do to get better? It feels like Jameson Williams is an addition because it doesn't feel like we got a full right? We didn't get a full season of Jameson Williams yet. How else did they improve? Well, they completely revamped their secondary, which was like the big problem with their defense, right? So like did the Cowboys add a running game? No, they went back and got Ezekiel Elliott. Like, what? There's question marks.
And Dalvin Cook. Reaching back into 2017, like.
Man, they're probably going to add Aaron Jones next year at this rate.
That would be an improvement.
Yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. The Lions are going to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Let's make it unanimous. I don't mind copying the homework. Super Bowl. The vibes are here. All vibes, no breaks.
I don't want to say what they're going to do in the Super Bowl, but
That one you're going to have to wait for.
Hmm.
That one comes Saturday on prideofdetroit.com.
we all just predict that the Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl.
We sure did.
You know what? I thought about tempering myself. It's really hard to just go right back to the NFC Championship. It's really hard. It's really hard. Like it's hard to win in this league. Just because we are living in an era where two teams have been doing it for about like 3-4 years doesn't mean that like you can just suddenly just rip it off and just do it again. But yeah, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. Give me the luchador mask. Put it on right now. Put the luchador mask on right now. Lions to the Super Bowl. And that is the Pride of Detroit POD cast. We've gone extremely long, so I am like fading really fast. The brain isn't working. This is your brain on Detroit Lions. I'm Chris Perfett at Chris Perfett on Twitter. Jeremy Reisman at Detroit Online. Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD. POD. The next time we see you, the three of us together, we won't need to be doing prognostications. We won't need to be doing like wondering about the roster. All we need to be doing is talking about real, honest to goodness Lions football. So go Loins. We'll see you Starside.
Recording stopped.
Okay.
To those of you in the chat, yeah, book your hotel
Don't do
in
that
New
yet.
Orleans. Go ahead.
Sure.
Grab your Airbnb, whatever you need to do.
Anything. I'm not going to jinx anything.
Grab your
You know
handy
why?
dandy crawfish opener.
Because I had a draft to my dad who was promising Super Bowl tickets if the Lions won last year. I had a draft to my dad with that Batista Give Me What I Want video. And I think even that I felt bad about afterwards. So I'm going to wait.
That's sleep in the airport, you cowards.
Sleep in the airport.
The
Leave
entire
it-
season.
Leave your keys there. Too soon?
Tuesday. The Lions haven't played a regular season football game since I lost my keys in San Francisco. That seems crazy to say. That feels like ages ago. Yeah, GT, I gotta talk with him about it.
With who?
Don't worry.
Oh,
Be
sorry.
happy. Alien Visitor. The
Oh,
keys
yeah.
are still there, waiting.
They aren't though. Not according to my tracker. Before the tracker died in terms of its battery. I forgot where it was. I think it was like in Alabama or something.
Nope. Nobody made us a Carmen Sandiego theme song for Jeremy's keys.
Where in the world?
Are Jeremy Reisman's keys?
Alabama. They made it to Alabama somehow. They were in Texas for a really long time by the Dallas Fort Worth airport, which made me think they were on a FedEx plane coming back to me, but never happened. If the Lions are so invested in special teams, why has kicker been the most neglected position as far as talent?
Because it's really hard to nail kicker.
I think it's definitely partially that. I think it's also,
Very volatile position.
I think, like, where has there been an opportunity to upgrade? Honestly.
I mean, how do you even upgrade at kicker?
Right? Because the
Do you
draft,
are you
the
trading
draft-
for Cameron Dicker or something or what?
the draft hit rate is god awful.
Yeah.
What question did you ask, Chris?
I said, how do you even upgrade at kicker? Oh, I see. Okay, very carefully.
But like you guys are saying, right? Like even the people who, Brandon McManus gets cut, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, sign Brandon McManus." He's like, "Why is he getting cut?" You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you always
This is
have to
very
ask
much so.
yourself that question with kickers. Is like,
I
you
feel
have
like
to,
this is very much so with O-line. It's like with O-line guys, right? It's like with tackles, right, Ryan?
I mean,
If
but
you got a good one, you
good
never
tackle.
let them
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
they don't go right. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You don't go.
I don't know. Like if you have a kicker, you don't get rid of them unless they're Matt Prater.
By the way, Florida State is down 14 to Boston College now.
All right, don't love that.
Why? Why
Why
do
do
you
you,
not love that?
why do you think?
Wait, hold on.
Why do you think? Take one guess.
Why are you betting on Florida State?
I gotta go.
Oh, wow. Took the coward's way out. You're not Ryan Matthews.
That's the bigger fault there. Not that you are currently like losing money, but that you even trusted the Knowles in the first place.
Didn't even realize there was college football on a Monday night.
They've been doing this for several years now. It's just kind of like
It's very silly.
maybe if it wasn't the fact that I'm subjected to Florida State on a standalone game for the second week in a row, I'd be more receptive to it.
Oh, it's the start of the second quarter.
I know. Well, they only started an hour ago. 9 minutes in, that's not the start of the second quarter.
What? It's 9:46 left. And then
Yeah, so
that's
it's been
5
running for
minutes in.
6 minutes. Yeah.
You just said 9.
I meant to say that there's 9 minutes left.
All right, let me catch up on alerts, and then I think it's probably about time to get out of here because
Yeah,
we've
sorry,
been
I'm
live
kind of fading a bit.
3 hours.
I've been live for 4.
Right. Captain James Kirk, thank you for the 41 months. Says lines to the Super Bowl, division winners, Cowboys, Falcons, Lions, Rams, wild cards, 49ers, Packers, Bucks. Lions get the 1 seed, 49ers beat the 49ers in the second round, and the Rams in the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. That'd be something. What if like Lions Rams just becomes like this new thing? This new
you know what?
Patriots Colts type of thing. Brady versus Manning, Goff versus Stafford.
I kind of don't want it. I don't want to keep giving Kelly Stafford more.
I want it to keep happening, and then every single time people are like, is this the time that the Lions fans applaud Stafford and thank him for his years? Because like Taylor Decker said it, but he didn't say it today because he was asked like, what do you think what Stafford's reception going to be like? And he goes, I don't have any idea, but if I know the Lions fans, he's in enemy territory. So he knows, just like every person who has any idea of what this fan base is about, or really what any fan base is about, he's going to get booed again. Like, there's no question. The only question is whether the Lions are going to set up a video package for him, and I would not bank on it. I think we've all moved on. We've all moved on from Stafford used to be the quarterback here. That was now 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
Yeah. I have other reasons I don't want it, but probably not for here yet.
And also, like, to anyone who thinks that Lions fans owe it to him to applaud him for 12 years,
yeah, whatever.
I'm Matthew Stafford's biggest fan. I have a Matthew Stafford
to a very annoying degree.
Rams jersey in my closet. He doesn't deserve anything on game day. You want to come in here and like cut a ribbon on a new sports facility, we'll gladly applaud you then. But on Sundays, when you're playing against our Detroit Lions, you're getting booed. Sorry. I don't care what you did for this franchise in the past. The only context that matters on game day is what team you play for. That's it. All right.
Sorry, I'm
rant over, stream over. If you're over here on Twitch, oops, I pressed the wrong button.
What'd you do?
There we go. If you're over here on Twitch, I think our good friend Bearded Blevins is live, or at least he was supposed to
okay.
be live tonight. Maybe he's not. I don't see him. Oh, he did say 7:30, and I think he was talking Central. And because
Well,
it's
it is
just now 7:32, of course he's late. Quick chat on Woodchuck's question. What's Woodchuck's question? Will Stafford get in the Ring of Honor? God, I don't know. The longer he spends on the Rams, I would say the smaller the chance.
Yeah.
You gave other bits, Woodchuck Hunter, where? I don't see any bits. Oh, I do. 50 bits says Jeremy predicts the Lions to go to the Super Bowl. Ding dong, wet blanket is dead. Hashtag kill the dictator. Hey. Maybe I haven't bid a wet blanket. Maybe I've just been right all the time. You know what I found out today? Peter Schrager has gotten the winner of the Super Bowl correct 5 straight times.
Terrifying.
He was teasing it today, and I think he's going to release his pick for this year on Thursdays. Good morning football, so be kind of fun if he picked the Lions.
Yeah. DJ Uyunglele is a fucking fraud.
Who's that?
He's the quarterback right now for Florida State. I know you don't care, but like, this is a really bad start for the Seminoles.
State of Florida in shambles.
I know we're about to hit the point where Miami is their best bet, and that is a terrifying prospect because the worst kind of people are Canes fans.
I mean,
Just the worst.
you're just picking from the worst of the worst when you're talking about Florida in general. Unless you're
Go
out here,
Gators.
unless
Go Gators.
you're watching from Florida, in which case, love all of Florida. It's so great.
I guess you could be like an FIU fan or something.
All right. Well, I don't see John live, so
Whew.
his
Yeah.
fault on missing out on our streamers. YouTube, you guys are the best. Twitch, you guys are almost as good, but there's fewer of you, so I'm going to continue to razz you about it. We will be live tomorrow night. Me and Eric doing a midweek mailbag after that. I'm not sure if we're going to go live for First
no,
Bite or if
there-
that'll be a...
Well, no, hold on.
What?
New preview podcast on Wednesday.
Okay, I was getting there.
Okay.
Let me get through the whole week. But yeah, there may or may not be a midweek mailbag. When do you know when you're going to go live for the new preview show?
Wednesday.
You're going to go live on Wednesday.
7 p.m.
Well, look at you, lucky
Yeah.
Lions fans. You're going to get streams 3 days in a row.
Yeah. I just wanted to get out in front of it because Thursday I'm going to be down in San Diego. I'm going to the Padres-Tigers game.
Okay. What time on Wednesday? Do you have a time?
7 p.m. 7 p.m.
p.m. Eastern.
We're aiming for 7 p.m. right now. I know Brandon, who's part of the podcast, he's Brandon, 7's his available time. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
I need to double check with everyone, and hopefully we'll be able to have that.
Okay. And then Saturday, Madden Sims are officially back. I bought the dang game.
Hell yeah.
I tested out the stream last Saturday. We're back into a regular schedule, y'all. It's week 1. So let's enjoy the ride. Thank you for all of your patronage. Thank you for letting us come back this year. Thanks to your unwavering support of us, even when we weren't here. Mailbag, we haven't decided, but it'll be an evening show. So like 6 or 7-ish. Yeah. That's all I got.
Cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks.
I'm ready to go. Yep. Sorry.
Thanks for y'all support. We're getting out of
Thanks,
here.
everyone.